You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the
M.T.V.B.
podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects, and that's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games.
I'm your host, Anthony, well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This week's episode is an episode I've wanted to do for a very long time now, and it's those movie sequels that you love but everyone else hates. And I'm joined by a bunch of guys that love to talk about movie sequels. Sorry, movie supposedly shit sequels.
Right.
Introduce yourselves around the table.
Hi, I'm John, JK47.
Hi, I'm Goku. Can I just say very excited about this episode?
Hi guys, it's Gal, aka Grey Fox.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Nice to be back. Yeah.
I hear this is
Back
going to be a bit
again.
of a controversial episode, this one.
Fists will be flying.
You know, like I had an issue with this one. Like I was doing that, and then I realised that they're actually like some of them
There's
were
loads.
prequels instead of sequels. So I amended it.
Yeah. Star Wars episode 1.
Amended it.
He so had Star Wars episode 1.
Probably.
Oh.
Actually, no.
Maybe.
Maybe one on, maybe
maybe
two.
two.
I don't know.
So basically this episode, I don't know if anyone follows YouTube at all, but there's a guy called the Angry Video Game Nerd, and he basically talks about movies sometimes. He done a top 10 chart about over 10 years ago now, which was essentially movie sequels that he really loved but everyone hates. It was like basically ones that he thought that weren't as bad as some people make out to be at the end of the day. So I thought it'd be interesting because we done a sequel episode in season 3, wasn't it? Beginning of season 3. So I thought let's go back to the sequels, but let's go for those ones where it was either critically panned or word of mouth, everyone hates it, but for some reason you guys like it.
Yeah, that's such a genius idea.
I'm going to lose fans on this episode, especially my number one. Everyone's going to start unsubscribing to us big time.
Well, let's hope
Honestly.
not. But,
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's down to individual. Like people,
course
when
it's
a film
individual
comes
opinion,
out,
right?
Of course,
yeah,
yes.
everyone's entitled to the opinion.
Exactly.
Right? So
100%. Yeah.
I don't think anyone should be upset.
yeah. I mean, the films in my list, like I say, they either bombed at the box office or the critics fucking hated them.
Exactly.
But each one of them on there, I've watched and I thought, I didn't find anything bad. about it.
Exactly
So-
same on my list, yep.
Exactly. Same.
And I think sometimes a lot of people read too much into these critics. You know?
That's true.
Yeah,
You're right.
and have to follow them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
It's such an interesting episode because, again, like when you pitched the episode, I thought this is going to take such a long time. But it just came instantly, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to talk."
Do you know what? That's what I'm saying. Like, I've got a few here. This is going to start.
Yeah, we had to put this in.
was this one of my creations as well?
No, this one was my one.
Oh, okay.
The last one we did was yours. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But
I was like, "Well, I'm going to put this in. I might have to get life insurance."
but I am super intrigued to see what people's lists are.
Yeah.
But we'll go into the questions very, very quickly first, and then we'll get to the meat and bone of the episode.
great.
So if it doesn't spoil your top 5, can you remember a sequel where you said to yourself, "Oh, that wasn't bad," but then you spoke to a friend of yours and he really hated it, and you thought, "Well, you were quite shocked by it." Have you ever had that situation before?
You know me too well. And that looks like that question was aimed at me.
Well, no, it was aimed at someone who likes Hellboy 2019.
I can
It's
talk
not
about
on my
it, but
list,
I don't want
funny
to
enough,
because
but
it's in my kind of
That's fine.
list. So.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Anyone else?
No,
Trying to
not
think.
really.
I've had, we'll go back to what
I've-
Goku
it's
said
happened a
about
few times, but
certain Star Wars fans. I mean, again, it's like people hated it. I obviously really enjoyed it. Technically, they're prequels, but it doesn't really
have
have
this conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When, at the time when it came out, I thought it was brilliant, especially the
Same
sequels. But I didn't realize how hated upon it was.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden it's become like a cult. But at the time, at the time, it was hated upon.
Yeah, and then recently at work, we were talking, me and Dave, who's obviously comes on the show every now and then, we were talking about this at work, this episode, and then someone was overhearing it, and then he brought up, I'm not going to say it because it's probably going to be in someone's top 5, but he mentioned a series of films where the sequels were bad, and I stood my ground and said, nope, they're fucking awesome. I don't care what you say, they're awesome.
Who was this person, by the way?
Exactly.
We'll talk about it later, but but yeah, so I'm just shocked how people don't like to have their own opinion sometime and just be like, you know what, it's okay to like these bad movies, or supposedly bad movies anyway.
Yeah.
A movie, at the end of the day, a movie is personal choice. It's not...
Exactly.
You know, I think people who follow what the critics say and then decide whether to watch a film or not are very sad.
Yeah.
I mean, a critic's job is to tear a film apart if they are able to. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, you know, put much credence in what they say. If you watched a film and totally agree with them, fair enough.
I mean,
Exactly.
But at the same time, you could watch the film and like you've mentioned, Hellboy, the remake. It's not a sequel, so that's why I've not included it. But I really
You got lucky there.
yeah, I did. I suppose it would have been in there otherwise. But yeah, I love that film. But everyone else freaking hated it. But didn't bother me because I like Hellboy as a character. So if it was a film about Hellboy, I'm going to like it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's going to maybe answer both of the questions you've asked without going into my list.
Yeah.
So I was the type that will go into cinemas and just watch the film, but I will not look into it. But after meeting that at a certain time, after we're having conversation with someone who's knowledgeable in films, and then they're like, "Oh, but you know why?" Or it makes you wonder. And then after having conversation about a particular film or certain, you know, as genres or whatever, and I started to, especially after that, I started to look at the film more differently. So before I would just watch any old dude film, like an action film, especially action films, and I just watch it just for the sake, you know, just
Sake
watch
of
it.
watching that.
Now I'll go into it after, you know, I'll be like, okay, why is he doing that? I start asking questions, not like a critic, but I'm like, okay, like try to understand why he's, you know, the director's putting it that way. And so in that way, you know, there's a couple of films where I've gone back and I'm like, yeah, fuck, man, this is actually a really good film. And then, like, you don't notice it because you're looking for the other things in a film, like action or, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
And then you're like, damn, man, I've been missing out. And then in that way, it can sway the other way as well. You can become too critical as a film as well. But then you're like, oh no, you know, this. So I think I've met the board where, like, you know, I actually appreciate what it is.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, going back to the question, which was.
Guys' eyes just opened up.
Well, you've kind of answered another question that I was going to bring up later, but don't worry, that's fine.
I thought someone had put their finger up his arse. He was so wide-eyed.
I just completely lost the thought, man. I was like, oh shit, what was the question?
Because you went off topic for a second and answered another question I haven't asked you. Anyway, but after they've given their opinion of that movie, does it make you change yours at all? And do you think, you know, of you liking, you know, does it change your mind about liking that sequel that they didn't like?
That happened recently for me with the. I hate to say it because this movie, I don't know, is okay. I kind of the Matrix, the new
Resurrections.
Yeah, I've even forgot the name of it. Like my brain is trying to get it out of my head because I can't believe this shit happened.
Sure.
You know? Like, but it's like at the same time, like I remember speaking to, like in fact, we were coming to a podcast here, and me and Gary in the car, and he said, "Yeah, you know something? I don't think it's going to be that great because Ant did tell me something about it." I was like, "Okay, don't tell me I'm going to watch the movie." Then I watched it. Then you told me after, and it's to do with Morpheus and stuff like this, and I thought, oh my God, you know, and it's, you know, I had that in my head, and that's one thing I never do. Like, I honestly, and like, I don't want to hear an opinion. I just want to go watch a movie.
Yeah, 100%, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But then I understood, and I was like, yes, you know what? Yeah. Even if I didn't hear that, like, I had the same. I would have the same. Would have been. They should have just made this movie so much. And why did they? You know, for me, just drool, man. Like, damn it, it's the Matrix. Why did you ruin it?
Yeah.
So
like,
I kind of forget it's there, but
I completely
brush
forgot.
it aside.
Put it back under that rug.
What you said? You said what? Matrix?
Yeah.
I don't. It's just the trilogy for me. Sorry.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, I like how you said
I
that.
don't even know what Resurrection is.
We'll leave it as a trilogy.
I've got one for that answer. So the recent Batman film, as good as it is, someone mentioned something, and I couldn't unsee it. And I told you on the way here actually.
Yeah.
Someone said Robert Pattinson looks like an emo, like in the film, and I couldn't get an emo.
An emo. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
When he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said it, I said, "No, this." Cause I went to see it with my brothers as well, and I know that's going to ruin it for me. I told them as well, and they're like, "As we coming back from film," and they're like, "You bastard!" Why
Wish you hadn't said that.
Yeah, it looks.
I didn't look at it like
so
that.
there's little things like if you go in to see a film, if someone says something, you kind of like sway it. Like,
Yeah, but
bad.
that's-
But then again, it's like it can still work out. And another say something. Oh yeah, make sure try not like sometimes when Ant recommends me stuff, he said. It will probably
Go in
explain them.
blind,
Yeah, so go in blind.
Yeah.
Don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Be open minded.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, then I'll sit back and that's when I'm like, okay.
You can discuss after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can go both ways.
That's what we did. Yeah, when we went and saw it, I'd never seen Ant so quiet
No way.
throughout the film, and I just thought he fucking hates it. I bet he fucking hates it, and I really liked it. So when we were walking out, he still hadn't said anything, and we were walking out. I think we got to the door as you walk out of this IMAX screen, and I said to him, "Well, what do you think then?" And I was expecting him to go, "Yeah, it's all right," as he does, and he just turned around and he went, "Fucking awesome." And I was just like, my heart lifted. I thought, oh my God, he liked it as well. But because
He does like it.
he does. It's because Ant understands films, and I learned quite a lot from him, from watching him.
Yeah,
But
no, you're right.
he is
Absolutely.
so right in what he says. Go in blind. And he often will give us recommendations for film, and he will say, "Don't look up trailers,
Just watch it.
Go in blind."
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. Just watch it.
And that works.
Every time he says that, the film's been bloody good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the actual question was: has anyone changed your opinion on the sequel?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because like
Yes.
no, I haven't. I mean,
I answered it.
no.
No, you
Not for me.
you went to Batman for some reason. Don't worry.
Yeah, not for me. I mean, I like watching films anyway. I like
And
the whole thing.
You haven't
about
changed
it.
an opinion.
Not really, no.
I have.
Because it comes down to exactly what this episode is going to be about. If I've watched it and I've enjoyed it, fine. I don't care.
You stuck to your guns and still liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there have been films that I've watched and got to the end of it and thought, fucking hell, was that it? So yeah,
Hellboy 2019.
so it can go. It can go either way. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't look at critics. I do. In the last couple of years, I do what Ant says. Just watch it. Just go and watch it. I don't look up the trailers on YouTube or anything like that. And I know sometimes you guys post them on our WhatsApp group, and I don't. Even then, I may not even look at the video.
Cool.
It doesn't have a thumb now. We click it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next question, right? So, have you ever got embarrassed by admitting you like these so-called shitty sequels?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There's
Really?
one that. Man.
Is it in the top 5?
It's not. That's the thing.
Go on and explain them.
Transformers 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? Like, honestly, because I went to see it in the cinema and I thought, oh,
And you really liked it?
amazing. Yeah, and I came out and it was like, that was shit. Me, okay, I'm going to stay quiet. Yeah, that was so shit. And inside I was like,
One word,
I thought it was
Hellboy.
all right. Hellboy. It's just
It was a
Hellboy.
remake, though, so you can't count
No, I
it.
know.
So Transformers was good.
Yeah.
2 was good, but
Number three?
I liked it, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I just can't
know.
compare. The thing about sequels, you keep comparing it to the first
To
one.
the first one.
So that's why
Yeah.
part of it straight away is like, oh no. But sometimes it does the reverse. So I don't know.
I sometimes wish, Men in Black, they had that thing where you press and your memory just wipes. I wish I did that before every sequel. It'd be interesting to see like how I'd perceive the movie, without comparing it to the first one. If there's any way you can do that, please let us know.
I'll tell you what mine was. Mine was, it's not on my list, but it was going to be an honourable mention. Spider-Man 3.
I agree with you, mate. Yeah.
Considering what was happening at the time
Yeah.
and how the film was made and what was going to be of the movie and what
Right.
happened with throwing in characters last minute,
Yeah.
I don't think it did a bad job, in honesty.
I agree with you.
Come on, dude. No,
No, come on. Okay, we won't mention the dance, right? I thought that was pretty awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, but if you know
After all
Sam
this
Raimi,
time.
if you know Sam Raimi,
Yeah.
he does typical shit like that. But
As a
don't forget,
director.
this was a movie that was meant to not even was just meant to be about Sandman, and then they have to throw in. Sony wanted Venom thrown in the last minute, and whatnot. So Sam Raimi had to redo the script and everything, and just throw him in there. He doesn't even like that character, but Sony were like, "We want this. It has to go in. This is what's going to sell the movie, not Sandman."
If they're paying for it, then
and then we had to throw in Harry Osborn as well. So that was also thrown in because we dragged that storyline the last 2 movies as well.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it, so yeah.
So trying to cram all that in at once, it felt like the old Batman films where they started putting more than one supervillain into it.
The only thing I will give for that is the CGI on Sandman was amazing.
It's phenomenal.
It's
absolutely amazing.
That's the only thing.
Groundbreaking.
There are some good fight scenes with Venom and all that sort of stuff, but the actual fight scenes with Sandman in the sewers, they're fucking awesome, dude.
Even
You
when he
can
actually
see the
turns,
sand.
you see the screen of sand. I remember that was
It's
amazing.
amazing.
But also the Eddie Brock transformation straight out of the comic book. It's just like a shot for shot, straight out
I
of the comic
didn't
book.
like his suit, man. And
I didn't. But that's what I'm saying is for what was rushed, because Venom was literally in it after 3/4 of the way of shooting. So everything had to change, script had to change, and actors had to change and everything. Suits had to change last minute as well. So for what that situation was put in, it's not, to me, not a bad sequel personally.
Yeah. And was number 3 the one where he stops the train by...
That's number 2.
That's
number 2.
Okay,
the best Spider-Man film.
Awesome. This is what number 3 was. So.
Says the Spider-Man fan, you see. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's why I'm critical of that film.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't.
But we got the ball rolling because you hated it. I still like it. I'm standing my ground.
this is the thing about me. Like,
But you might go back and change your opinion now. Consider him.
That's actually true.
Maybe, but I think partly
He
because
admitted it here first, folks.
partly because I don't know, for some reason I didn't agree with him being Eddie Brock.
True.
So that was
miscast again. Yeah.
I don't think he.
But that's what happens when you throw in a cast member last minute.
So yeah, true. But I see what you're saying, and that's a good opinion.
But that's one opinion anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I was there opening night. Everyone was wearing Venom t-shirts, like even myself. And then I walked out of the cinema thing. I quite enjoyed that. But then everyone was like, oh, fucking shit, suit don't, and all this and that, emo, dancing. What the hell? And I literally just sat there like, oh, I better keep my mouth shut. Yeah, it was fucking shit, mate, wasn't it? Yeah. It's like that episode of It Crowd when he's around the footballers and he doesn't know how to talk down football.
Yeah, that was
You shit at ludicrous display last night. It's like that.
Think about Arsenal, they will try to walk it in.
But anyone else? Obviously, Transformers 2, Spider-Man 3 for me. What was yours? Do you have anything like that, John?
Not really.
No, right. Big Gal. No, right. Next question. Was obviously going to be what you mentioned earlier. Have you ever gone back and like watched Transformers 2 and been like, do you know what, this ain't too bad or anything like that? Or
Like after rewatching it.
yeah,
The first time you see it, not so good, but then you watch it again.
have you had any others like that at all?
Very interesting.
I kind of have, but I
something
can't
else
mention it because it might be in someone's top 5, so I can't really mention it.
I
But
mean-
anyone else?
Not really. No.
That's John out.
Something random. Most random sequel, a Saw 2. I don't know why. I watched it again and I was like, oh, it's not that bad. The first time I was like, not the same.
But,
Yep.
yeah,
Then
even
again, I
like
was ooh.
Saw 3 is
Yeah.
underrated, man. That is really good.
Saw 3 is
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Then
you
we had
know,
a couple
the
shit
traps in
ones,
that.
and then
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Saw 6, but Saw 6 I think is very underrated.
Absolutely. Was that the last one before?
No, 7 was the last one. Then we
7
had
was
Jigsaw.
fine.
Then we had Chris Rock Spiral.
Chris Rock Spiral.
You have 3 seconds to open the door.
I'm trying to think of them.
Moving on. Right, okay. If it comes back to you, we'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
So the final question here before we do our top 5s, guys, is are you the proud owner of any of your top 5s?
Oh, like own.
Yes.
Like, do you own these shitty sequels?
Oh my
They're
God.
not-
Supposed shitty sequels?
Yes.
I hope, look, because
I own every single one, and I'm proud of it.
I feel like maybe I haven't done the list right because I really love these films. And then
That's the point, but everyone else hates them.
apart from one, I own the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you own any of yours?
3 of them.
3 out of the 5, John? Own? None of them. Doesn't own any of them. Right, okay, we're interested now.
Then.
That must be so bad.
That is such a good question to put
Oh man,
in, right?
I think I might have picked the wrong ones. I thought they generally thought they were rubbish. My list.
No, everyone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you like them.
I love them.
So you don't own any of your shitty sequels?
I do. That's what I'm saying.
How many?
That's what I said. I said I own 4.
Oh, you own 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I bought the box set,
But you don't have many DVDs, Blu-rays anyway, John. Do you?
I would have had two of them.
Oh, fair enough.
bought the
Yeah.
box set.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Two.
So we do this then?
Let's do
We're
it.
going to lose so many fans
I'm
over
gonna
these
say-
movies.
might
Let's
be-
do those top 5, guys.
It's time for a top 5. Number 5.
So who wants to be brave and go first? I'm happy to if you want to. Or
I'll go.
Yeah, you go? Right, let's do this.
do it.
Which way are we going? We going around, so
Well,
I'm last? Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Right.
Let's do it.
I haven't done a lot of background on some of these, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so heads up, folks. John had a very busy day today, so
Busy week, yeah.
busy week even. So
Yeah.
just be prepared for his. It might just
I'm
be
literally-
very short but sweet, but
yeah.
he still participated at the end of the day, and we're very appreciated. So
Nice one, John.
My one
Number 5. Yeah.
is The Last Jedi.
okay.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Come on.
Oh,
I'm joking.
Come on. Hear me out.
Oh, you've been stabbed in the
It's
side.
been stabbed. It's been
a
stabbed.
dagger through my heart, sir.
I'll make up to the rest. I had to. I went with my heart.
We just lost 100 subs.
Oh my god! Come back!
At least,
Come back!
at least I didn't say the third one.
Explain, sir. Go.
Come on.
Kylo Ren, man. Come on.
You what?
Yeah.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren is
Like,
badass.
yeah.
He's a badass.
Come on. That was.
I've always said he's badass,
Yeah,
but
so
yeah.
you introduction to Kylo Ren, right?
Yeah, but he's not introduced
I'm just saying
in-
why. I'm just saying. I know it's a total rip off of the first film ever. Like, you know, the whole idea of the planets, like a Death Star and all that.
That's Force Awakens, dude, not Last Jedi. You know that, right?
Sorry. I meant Force Awakens. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
So we'll take the dagger out of my heart for a second.
Oh, shit. Not Last Jedi.
No,
Hey,
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Sorry.
Force Awakens. So episode 7, yeah?
Yeah, episode
right, okay.
7,
So
yeah.
redo that, guys.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's do that again.
It's time for a top 5.
What's your number 5, sir?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Okay. Let's do...
Sorry.
Right, sir. Explain, sorry.
Yeah, so, you know, it's the tip.
We're off to a good start. We just got those subs back.
I saved some subscribers for you.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah, so I generally, like, when I came out, I thought the film actually set it up for a really good trilogy.
Sure, it did. Yeah.
It did, and, you know, introduction of the good, like, you know, really good bad villain. What's his name? Kylo Ren.
Yep.
And you have the whole Rey's sort of parents issue, and you're like, shit, this is gonna.
Where's it all gonna go?
Yeah, where it's gonna go. I know it's exact rip off, like I said, the first film, but I generally enjoyed it, and I thought, wow, okay, they set it up for the sequel well, and you know, for somewhere in there, I really thought John Boyega, I thought he was going to end up being a Jedi, because as the story developed, it looked like he was a pilot in the, like, from that film. It looks like he had a prominent role in the whole thing.
Yeah, like
Whereas
a main
as it moved
character.
on, it just looks like they had no idea what either.
Yeah. They didn't. It was rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
You
really
know?
rushed, and
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't own it, but I think it's one of those ones where people hate it so much, but I think I came out of the cinema thinking I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said,
I enjoyed all three, but as when I came out of it afterwards, I was like, that was so bad. Like, you know, this is cringeworthy. But this number one,
No, like you said, it set everything up. It left everything unanswered. So hence why everyone went to go see Last Jedi. We were there midnight opening for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
as well, and
they just
then nothing answered anyway. So, but no,
Pointless.
episode 7 is the best out of the 3.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's it, 100%. I mean, there are good moments from the other films, but at the end of the film was going nowhere. It was just like
Yeah.
doing its own thing.
Yeah.
So it was pointless. Whereas it looked like the director. What was his director who did the first one?
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, he set it up.
Abrams, isn't it?
He
Yeah.
set it up for a really.
But then he
really
did 9, which is really bad.
But in a way, in his defense,
But was
like,
it his
he
fault,
kind
though?
of.
Oh.
But it's not his fault, no. It's
direct-
Kathleen
yeah,
Kennedy's
the-
fault and Disney's fault, but
the
never
film
mind.
before kind of messed it up
Yet
for him.
again, Disney rearing their head with a bad film.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Fucking
that
Disney. We're so
It's
getting
all about
sued.
the money with them, isn't it?
so yeah, that was my one. But it's the one that I don't know.
So number 5 is episode 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
I liked
Nearly.
episode 7, actually.
It's good, isn't it?
As I say, it's the best out of the 3,
Really?
but
Yeah.
I don't
But
own
it's
that
a shame,
trilogy.
like-
Yeah.
And as a
after
Star
that-
Wars fan, that says a lot. Come on.
No, but I think a lot of fans said that, and a lot
Yeah,
of
but it's
fans-
true, yeah, it's
Star-
true.
Star
Yeah,
fans,
but see, I'm not
for
really,
sure.
I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I've liked all the films that I've seen, and I think I've seen them all now. So
Yeah.
for you guys, obviously into it way more than
Yeah.
I am. So you guys can discuss a good or a bad film.
Yeah, I mean-
to me, I've enjoyed them all. So
Like even when he stops the fucking laser being shot, that was just fucking.
That's Kylo.
Like, shit, this is good. This is
and he's more powerful than Darth Vader. Come at me.
whoa.
Changed my mind.
What about Anakin? We thought it was
It's the
Darth
same thing.
No, he's not.
He's either burnt or crisp or not.
Anakin would take him out
No
any
chance.
day.
No chance. Goku, what's your number 5?
Nice. So my number 5 is. Why have I forgotten my number 5?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
He's going to say episode 8 now.
Because my mind wants to get rid of it. Okay, get ready for it because I'm sitting next to a guy to my left who's a
Jesus
super
Christ.
fan. So I'm going to get ready. This is why I did get life insurance before this episode. So you want to call 999 and do it now. So it's the Lost World Jurassic Park.
That's my number 1. Are you serious? You must have read my no.
Okay.
Are you serious?
If I hide it,
Oh
and
my
you just
God.
read, look, I had that all the way through.
Right, so the Lost World
Oh my
Jurassic Park. So
God.
we're saying
So that's your 5 and his
Actually,
1.
Skull is number 1 for once. This is like revenge for previous thing, isn't it? Oh, God. Okay,
God.
I feel like Gao should. Go on. You should.
well, no,
take
you should
note.
do first because this is number 1. He'll go
Okay,
longer.
okay. Right.
I feel
so-
like crying, man.
Okay, I will
Oh my
tip
God.
the surface, right? I will skim the surface, and
I
you
forced
go
you to watch this
deep,
back in
right?
the day, by the way.
Very true. So long story short, when I first knew of Gao, there was a time. The one thing that we, as friends bonded over was watching.
The year was
Lost World.
1997.
The year was 1997, and Oasis,
my line.
Oasis was killing it in the charts.
It was either Oasis versus Blur.
Yeah,
It was a rainy day.
It was a rainy day, exactly. and then Gal literally forced me to watch this movie. But I kid you not, in my humble opinion, I hate to say it, at the time, I thought it was better than the original Jurassic Park. I was like, wow,
It
they've
is.
actually.
What?
It's a huge. Now my opinions have changed because I rewatched the first one. I was like, oh my god, really?
Yeah.
But then, and I thought
He clearly
Number
wasn't
2
on
is
Comedy
brilliant.
Corner for that.
And then one time, I remember seeing the radio.
Let's say it right now.
It was one Christmas, right?
Serious.
And the Radio Times, like they have the stars out of 5, and it was Lost World Jurassic Park. Like, ooh, and they gave it like 3-star. I was like, what? No, this is Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg, right? So then this morning, just like while I was at work on my lunch break, I was like, let me just see what the Metacritic said. Okay, so 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't get it. Right, and then 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Like, I thought these are really like average ratings.
Yeah, very average.
Yeah, and I thought, why? Like that scene, even with the bus when it was upside down and the laptop.
That is a good scene. That's a damn good scene.
Absolutely.
The
And,
cracking
yeah, exactly. The crack. The laptop hits it. It cracks.
Taking all your bits.
Yeah.
That's right. Go ahead.
And it was that. But all of that. And then I like the idea of, the monsters. Sorry, the dinosaurs.
The idea of the second island and everything as well. Yeah,
exactly. And in the beginning scene, okay, but now I should give it.
No,
over to
go
Gal.
carry on.
You sure?
No, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, but yeah, that's right. Like it was a sequel that I originally really, really liked, but apparently everyone else, and I've spoken to people as well, and they're like,
likes
it
it.
wasn't so good. I don't get it. Gal, why don't they like it?
I don't know, man. It's like for
don't
me,
get it.
like, do you
because
remember?
people wanted the first one again.
Is that
That's
right?
the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can't. How many times
You can't catch that lightning in the bottle
Yeah,
again, wasn't it?
I can't.
And I think the fact that is that Steven Spielberg knew that when the script was done, and in the whole. I'm sorry, I'm taking this away from you.
No,
Carry
no,
on. Sorry,
no,
go
carry
on.
on, carry
No,
on,
go
go
on.
on.
No, that was good.
No, I love. I want. For me, if personally, I want to see more dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like I felt like
There
a
wasn't
number
enough.
one's good, but it was done like really well, perfectly, but wasn't as much dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I wanted more. I want to see more T-Rex, and I got it in a film.
Yeah.
Like, T-Rex go to New York, into America.
We had 3 in this one.
Yeah,
That was incredible.
Wait to see the new one looks even bloody hell.
and then like I love the poacher stuff, like where they're hunting down the animal, the dinosaurs, and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they're doing it and stuff.
Yeah.
They've got to delve into that sort. I love that, and how
Yeah,
these guys. You know what?
And the T-Rex actually had a nest as well.
Yeah.
Like, you actually
Yeah,
got
yeah,
to see
yeah,
how
yeah,
dark and
yeah.
dingy it was there.
That was scary.
And then I love the little convoy they have. I wanted to be in it. It's so badass
Yeah.
with the 2 trucks, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do. I want to go in that convoy and hunt dinosaurs, dude. That's what I want, and that's what drives me the most. I wanted to be in there
Yeah.
and just see dinosaurs in that convoy as a child, and I just love that aspect of it. Obviously, Convoy gets destroyed by two T-Rexes.
By T-Rexes. Pulls it apart.
Yeah. And you know, I love the high tree. What does he say it is? Is it
A hide.
a what?
High tree.
A high. It's
It's high, and you're hiding it.
I love that scene where like he's raining and stuff, and he's at the top with the little girl, and you see the trees move, and I was like, "Fuck, shit's about to get And it does, doesn't it? It does. And then they're trying to heal the T-Rex. Give the bloody baby T-Rex back, man. Are you stupid? Like, you know.
Dude, there's a part in that movie where it gives me chills every time, and it's like the part where they go up in the high hide before the trees thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be safe up here." And she's like, "No, I heard about all those stories about you." And he goes, "Oh, no, don't worry about that. We're in a totally different situation right now." Then all of a sudden you hear the T-Rex roar, and it's like, because it's the first time you're hearing that movie, and if you're a Jurassic Park fan from the first one, that was the sound you knew, like Gal said, shit's gonna happen now.
And his face is
is terrified. He is absolutely
Scared.
terrified. One of my favourite parts of that movie, big time.
Yeah, that was Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff
His
Goldblum,
character,
yeah.
wasn't it? Oh my god, he was so iconic.
Like even like for me, those scenes were good, and the Velociraptor comes.
Mate.
Those high,
The tall grass.
Oh, that scene is amazing. Like they get picked apart by the Velociraptors, and I was just like, "Oh, this is."
But again, it's like you don't need. You don't really need to see them.
You have action with the T-Rex in the camp.
Yeah,
that was so cool with the coat hanging, and it looks like bloody like a T-Rex as well. And
he sniffs into the camp. Yeah,
it was so sick. And the guy gets stepped on.
Yeah,
and then the fat guy, I don't know. I think he's a director. This little red snake goes into him, and he gets the sound. I still remember
the crunch, the bone crunch. Yeah,
it's so good, man.
Yeah,
like,
when he goes inside, it does its damage. Even the beginning scene, like with the boat, that comes in, and it's like you just see nothing, like it's all misty, and then out of nowhere, this boat just comes out of nowhere, and it kind of crashes in.
That's at the end, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that's at the end, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, and the little girl
crazy.
in the beginning, the scene where like the little what are they called? The little, I forgot the name of the little dinosaurs.
Oh, the little compy things. Yeah.
Basically a killer, and then
it's so annoying because you see the mum scream and she screams, but you never see what happens to the girl, and it's just like, and there's only like a reference to it later on. Like, oh, she survived, she's okay. One night, I was like, no, I want to see her get eaten and shit.
and the moment where like after the Velociraptor scenes, it goes in for a bit, and then they call for radio help. And you think it's going to end. Now, this is what I thought it's ending. Yeah. And then you see the T-Rex being captured, and you're like, oh my days. To New York. Well, it wasn't New York, but, Yeah. And then, you're waiting for the ship to turn up, and you're like, something's not right here, man. Yeah. And it crashes, and you're like, fuck.
We need to do a commentary corner.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that film. We have to do it. Like, I love Jurassic Park, the first one. How many times did I make you watch that? And every weekend he used to come down. We would just watch it.
Every single time. Never been
Not just you, my brother, your brother. We
just sat down and watched it. Yeah.
So good.
Brother? To the point. Yeah. Exactly. He just turned up. He was born to watch that movie. He just came in.
It's so good, man.
It was weird. And I never thought, I always thought rewatching a movie, you get bored of it. But there's something about it. You just keep on watching it. And it just kept on getting better.
Obviously, as I got older, I didn't realise people actually hated the film.
That was shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I never hated it. I mean, I remember seeing it in 97 at cinema and walking out thinking, did I like it? Yeah. But I would. The thing is that because I know what to expect the second time, I obviously liked it more the second time round. But there's only one thing about that movie I can't stand, and it really irritates me to this day. Julianne Moore's character is the most annoying female character in movie history. Like you said, there's the part where just give the dinosaur back, and you're shouting at her. Yeah. It was like all the part where she's on the glass. 3 men tell her not to move. What did she do? Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have that same effect when we watched that other film the other day. We were doing a commentary, and I was like, oh my god, I realized how annoying this person is.
Oh, Godzilla. Yeah.
So if I watch it again, I will probably be like, oh my god, she's actually annoying.
Yeah,
female character, right?
Yeah,
I know.
But again, apart from that, obviously as a kid, I obviously don't bother with that scene. It's for me, it was all about the action of the dinosaurs. Yeah, and I got to see that in the film, and hence why it's in my number 5.
Yeah, it's your number one.
Number one. Sorry, number one. Sorry,
and then Gokul's number 5.
Yeah, but it's number 1. Yeah,
wow. It was the first one on my list. So anyway, I was like, yeah, boom.
Straight. I kind of figured it was going to be in yours, but I didn't think it'd be number 1. That's wow.
Purely
But hey,
because I've seen it so many times.
yeah. I mean, everyone's
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm glad you.
I'm just glad it wasn't Last Jedi number 5. Fucking hell. Anything else in that Gokul?
I think that's it, man. I'm so happy. Yeah, we actually spoke to the biggest Jurassic fan.
I think he's got your number.
I think so. I think we're doing.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Funny if you
exactly.
John, your number 5, sir.
All right, my number 5 is a 2013 film.
Oh, The Great Gatsby.
You had me going with the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. So this one, right, got a 5.2 on IMDb and 15% Rotten Tomatoes.
15.
15%.
That's worse.
And it's A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
John McClane and his son, he goes to Russia.
That's the 5th one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
Yes,
it's the
yes,
fifth
it
one,
is.
yeah.
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 His son turns out to be a CIA agent. And all Bruce Willis finds out he's in trouble. And so he goes out to Russia to help him, and then he realises what he's got himself involved in.
I really like this sequel.
Yeah, see,
I really fucking like, but I don't think any of them are bad. It's the thing.
That's the thing. I don't think any of them are bad. But when you look at the critics for it, the critics fucking hated it.
Yeah.
It made a load of money in the box office, but the critics panned it.
I watched it in the cinema.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's like when I was looking at the list of films, I thought,
I remember when this came out, right?
So
this came out on Valentine's Day 2013, right?
No way.
So I didn't get my missus chocolate, roses, whatever. We went to see Die Hard 5.
Liberty.
Because she loves Die Hard as well. Yeah, she absolutely. We had a Die Hard table at our wedding. She loves Die Hard, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were there first thing in the morning, and we fucking enjoyed this movie because at the end of the day, it's Die Hard. You know what you're paying for. You know what you're going in. Absolutely. I really hated it when people panned the 4th one because he jumps on top of a jet. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. In number 3, he jumps on top of a fucking truck when it's getting flooded by water. It's like it's John McClane. Of course, he's going to do this shit.
Absolutely.
Leave your brain at the door. Enjoy the fucking movie. You know.
Exactly.
So why did they hate the film? Because
I don't know. Just it's
seen
so
it, so
tongue in cheek. But
have you not seen it?
No.
Dude, there is an amazing car chase scene in Moscow, and the ending part to it where this thing crashes into I think it's like a big massive concrete pipe thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
this
like
massive
canister.
truck caving in, and it's all realistically done and everything, practical effects. It is the nuts.
Yeah, it's
number
not even
5 is pretty good, man.
Yeah, no CGI. That was really done.
Yeah.
That was physically done. It was amazing.
You should watch it, bro. It is good.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
good.
People just rip into it just for the sake of the films.
And I guarantee you, and if Die Hard came after the Fast and Furious bullshit, right, we're flying into space and shit, people would have loved it.
How is that acceptable?
Exactly.
But John McClane going to Russia is like. I mean, man, I'm probably not good, but that's what they should do. America needs to send John McClane to Russia right now. Sort this shit out
right now. That's why I couldn't figure out why they didn't like it, because it's like, he's his son. He finds out he's in court. It's
a good storyline.
So he actually goes out to Russia to see what he can do to help him, which is what a dad would do.
Absolutely.
The fact that shit gets real and they end up in a crossfire between a couple of bad dudes that's what John McClane does. He fights his way out, and of course his son being a CIA agent, he helps him fight their way out of.
Yeah.
So I don't get what's bad about it.
No. Honestly, don't.
Yeah. So,
but I think people are just like, "Oh, it's nostalgia." It's just like
they're probably bored of the Die Hard franchise because it is number 5. But then,
but this is the issue.
That doesn't make it a bad film.
I miss movies like Die Hard in cinema. Like if you ever look at 90s action films, Con Air and all that sort of stuff, and Face Off and all those amazing action movies. It's like we can't get that now unless it's in a Marvel movie or like Gokul said, Fast and Furious or something.
Yeah.
It's just I miss them, man. But that's a good shout. I don't think Die Hard movies are bad, man. I really do enjoy the shit out of them.
Amazing.
It's like you said, just leave the brain at the door and just go enjoy it.
Exactly. I remember the first time Ant said that to me, and I thought, actually, that's quite a good phrase. Just go in and you'll either enjoy it or you won't.
Absolutely.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, you don't go to watch Die Hard for Oscar-worthy performances. You go for action, gore, bad language, more action, and just plain old Bruce Willis. There was a few times in the movie where
John McClane going to do today?
I think there's a line in the movie where he keeps going, "Oh, I'm on vacation" or something. Or he keeps saying that a couple of times, which is a bit annoying. But apart from that, it's just, dude, that's a good shout. It's a good shout.
Very good.
I I don't know how to follow that, but my number 5, I'm going to lose subs for saying this.
No.
Here we go. Straight out the bat, Speed 2.
I've got it.
Have you got it in yours?
I think I have as well.
Speed 2.
Oh my god.
Speed 2 Cruise
Control.
The most genius name for a sequel. By the way.
Right?
Cruise Control.
Yeah.
I love it. That was my number... Oh, it's my number 4.
It's your number 4.
Great,
All right.
that's okay, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I don't have it.
You don't have it.
I took it out. But
Speed 2 is not a bad sequel, dude.
Thank you.
It is not that bad as people make out to be. I mean,
Preach.
okay, there's no Keanu Reeves in it, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
after Speed 1,
Sandra Bullock's in it, though.
that dude just like, he was hot as shit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he was doing some other good stuff, Johnny
Yeah.
Mnemonic. But yeah, what is there bad about this? It's
on.
you know, it's fun, it's entertaining,
Yes.
it's shit hot action for a PG rated
I know,
movie.
I
It was
know, yeah.
PG.
PG rated, yeah.
Never understood that.
William Dafoe is the bad guy. Let's face it, he's good as a bad guy.
good as
Put it that
anything.
way.
So
Great in that movie.
Well, Willem
he's the
Dafoe can
terrorist
do
in
no
that.
wrong, as they
Exactly.
say.
Yeah, you still got Sandra Bullock in it, which is more about her per se. But I'm a fan of. So basically, Keanu Reeves is replaced by an actor called Jason Patrick.
Yeah.
I don't mind Jason Patrick as an actor. I think he's
a
pretty
good
good.
actor.
If you ever watch one of his movies, I recommend it. It's called Narc. Fantastic
Oh, I've heard
film.
of it, not seen it.
Very fantastic film, and I personally think it's Oscar worthy.
Right.
If you watch it, it is awesome. It might be on Prime or something.
Oh,
very, very good. Him and Ray Liotta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're basically undercover
Like
cop
the
sort of
sound
thing.
already.
Yeah.
Very hard cop drama with a really good twist at the end of it as well. Highly fucking random. Anyway, Speed 2.
Yeah, anyway.
Speed 2.
Yeah, what is there not to like, guys?
Come on.
Even that scene with the boat at the end
was gonna
crashing
say,
through
yeah.
goes on for ages, and it's just action
Keeps
after
on
action.
going.
Oh
through
my
the scene.
god, it's so
Absolutely.
good, man.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Cheesy as fuck.
Of course.
Like I said, going back to 90s action films just now,
Yeah.
it is cheesy as hell, pure 90s. And it's like, how could you not like this movie, right?
Those were the years where the movies, action movies, at like top, I reckon.
Exactly, yeah.
Without doubt. Because it was at the point where like not everyone could afford like proper CGI. When that movie, the CGI was amazing.
They were trying to
Yeah.
match it with the practical effects. weren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if we can't do it, let's just see how much we can push with the physicality.
And the thing is that this movie was overlooked because it was literally out the week or two after Lost World. So they were both after for the summer,
Oh, shit.
the summer
Okay.
blockbuster, and
you
obviously
go.
everyone was still going to see Lost World when this movie came out. And again, because Keanu Reeves wasn't in it, you know, no one wanted to see it. It was such a shame, and it's underrated, personally. But why is it in your 4, sir?
I'll tell
Sorry.
you what, the story was okay, and you'll love me for this, Anne, because I went to Blockbusters to pick the VHS of this because I heard about Speed 2. Yes, I saw the first Speed, and I was like, oh, Speed 2's out. Okay, can't go see. Well, at the time, okay, I kid you not, I really wanted to go see it in the cinema, but I thought it was a 15. There's no point asking because Speed 1 was a 15, right?
Yeah.
And I thought there's no chance. Like, you know, Dad's just going to say no. There's no point asking. And then I look at the VHS like, what? It's PG. Like, this is... Okay.
Yeah, because
Could've gone
you got the
after
first
all.
one that's gone from 15
Yeah.
rating to a PG rated
PG
movie.
rated.
It's
That
just
might
like,
that might have
really?
influenced the critics on it then.
yeah. But yeah, it was to
But
get
then-
more kids in the seats, wasn't it? At the end of the day, yeah.
Absolutely. To
course
get
it is.
more...
But it's still so watchable as an adult at the end of the day. Okay, there's no bad language, I think, but there's still enough action for an adult to love this
go
movie.
through.
I've seen it, but I can't remember. That
Dude,
much
I'm
about it.
desperate to do a commentary corner on it. It'll be fucking
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
please.
It'll be
I'm-
so
I'm
good.
down for that.
Please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Let's do it.
If we can even do Speed 1
Lost
and 2,
World
right?
and Speed.
Yeah, we planned to do Speed at one
Yeah.
point as well.
Oh,
So yeah,
really?
but we need to do the double.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Have you got,
Fucking
have you
A.
got Speed on 4K?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
so do
yeah.
I.
amazing.
I need to get. Oh, I'm hoping Speed 2 gets 4K release. That'd be so good. But yeah, I don't know what the critics. It's very average, isn't it? But,
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
There's a lot of videos on YouTube where these other people watch it and make fun of it, whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point of this movie: is just to have laugh and have fun with it.
Absolutely. Because it was kind of like, okay, after everything that happened in Speed 1, right? You can imagine, as characters, if it was like, okay, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves are like, fuck, we went through all of that. We're going to go on holiday. We're going to get married. We're going to go on holiday and relax. And then this happens. So it's kind of like them. It's like a honeymoon Speed almost.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
absolutely,
It's
yeah.
like, so it
And-
had to be played down.
And the thing was
relaxed,
is that
right?
when I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a copper growing up. I used to not because of Speed, but I used to watch a lot of cop movies like Bad Boys and all, Speed 1 and 2, all that sort of stuff, Lethal Weapons and whatnot. And I really wanted to be a cop. And then because I really like Jason Patrick as an actor. When he was that copper in Speed 2, I wanted to be him.
Yeah.
That's the guy. If I was a copper, I wanted to be just like him.
He was so cool.
Yeah, he was badass, man. And
Amazing.
I don't think he's they really came at him in this movie. I think Sandra Bullock's worse in this movie. But,
Right, exactly.
But hey, this is her movie for some reason. She's barely in it.
I just found the ratings. For
Go for it. Go.
Go on, John.
IMDb 3.9.
What? No, I see. That's bad.
Rotten Tomatoes 4.
4%.
That's bad, man.
I can't
It so doesn't deserve that
doesn't
at
deserve
all.
But then Amazon gives it 4.2 out of 5.
See,
Are you serious?
Not being funny. There's way worse movies out.
Yeah.
There's movie sequels than that, and I don't think that
Exactly.
deserves its justice.
No.
Yeah. That
Also,
crash-
Last Jedi deserved that rating.
Yeah, Last Jedi deserves
Piece of
less
shit.
than that piece of shit. And that was your number 5.
I changed the last
William
minute.
Dafoe. Look.
Yeah, see, yeah,
Crazy.
but yeah. Go for it.
Oh my
Anything
God.
else on that at all?
I think the crash scene again, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
Because the first time you see like almost a boat that's going in,
Yeah.
full speed into like whatever it was, like a marine.
Do you remember that
Like
shot when they're trying to, that suspense scene where they're trying to
Like a
turn the
resort.
wheel
Yeah.
so it doesn't go into the oil tanker?
It tilts, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of grinds it on the side.
And I love that because there's such
Crazy.
the beauty of that scene is that there's so high tension because they can't turn it on the bridge, whatnot.
Yeah.
So Jason Patrick has to go into like the engineer part, and he has to go underwater
Yeah.
to turn the wheel and keep coming up for breath and coming down. Is he going to do it in time? What not right?
Yeah, the suspense.
And this is where Gokul comes into it about his scene. It's like as soon as that scene's done, and there's like the CG boat that's done it. It's a very good shot.
Really good.
After that, they're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
we're gonna now crash into an island," and it goes on forever.
Keeps on going.
It's
The
so
boat
good.
Doesn't stop.
It
just
doesn't
keeps on
stop, and it keeps
crashing.
pushing. It's blowing up
Going in.
buildings. It's
Yeah.
wrecking people's boats, and whatnot.
No
I'm
way.
thinking, how many people died in this?
Yeah,
Like,
and the good
it's
thing I
like-
love about that movie, doesn't the oil tanker still blow up anyway?
Yeah, it still blows up. They had to. It was a 90s action movie. They had to blow.
Exactly. So after all that time
Yeah.
turning the wheel to get it still gets blown up. Such a good sequel, man.
It's amazing.
It's underrated. Yeah,
So
that's why it's
good.
got to be number 5. Your number 4.
Has to be done. Yeah.
Nice.
Even all the characters in that, isn't it? There was like a deaf girl. Like there was a small.
That's
deaf
right,
girl.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
Somehow that worked really well.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
Because
I
he
don't know,
can talk he can sign language, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Because he learned sign language, and I kind
That's
of
it.
wooed Sandra, but like, oh, he
Ooh,
can do
ooh,
that.
yeah.
exactly. To the background, it's one again, like random music.
That's why I wanted to be Jason Patrick. So everyone could like me.
Yeah, and there's like a random song in it that I just thought to myself, this
It's
is
UB40.
yes, and that is it. Wise man.
Good track.
It's a good song.
It is.
They play that in the song like this is so fucking random.
They're
but
actually
it's
in the
so
fucking
good.
film though
Yeah,
as well.
They're in the movie.
Yeah.
UB40.
Yeah.
Like, Ali and the gang. They're all in the movie.
I wonder if they got off the boat before it crashed. like Titanic style. They got on the little lifesaver. But yeah,
Fantastic.
awesome. Good pick, sir.
Yeah,
Let's
good,
go
that's
to the
good.
number 4s.
Number 4.
So Gokul's out this round. Big Gal, what's your number 4?
Matrix Revolution.
Oh,
Okay.
Guess what? It's my number one.
there you go. See?
They've done each other over.
I'm happy we did each other. That's good. That's good.
I'll go
on,
into
Gal.
it and then
Please.
I haven't seen it, so
What?
Oh yeah, he does.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
he doesn't understand it.
Okay.
Okay. So where do I begin? Like,
The year was 2003, which it did come out then.
it's one of my favorite trilogies
I have
to
seen
this
it.
day, as in the Matrix franchise. I am
Look up
not.
the rating, John.
I am not gonna.
Oh yeah.
I refuse to believe Resurrection is a sequel to this. That is a piece of shit.
Thank you.
Okay, it deserves to be binned.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Like The Last Jedi.
yeah, 100%. So this one for me was like at the time I really like the number 2.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Reloaded.
Yeah.
The Reloaded
But
again is underrated.
I recently watched it, like the whole trilogy,
Yeah.
and I think it's a phenomenal film. Like, there's stuff in there, like especially like I overlooked the actual Zion action scenes.
Everyone did.
Oh my god!
Everyone
Thank
did.
you.
Because they were waiting for the ending. That's all they were waiting
Yeah.
for.
Just for
Dude,
the ending.
that was like I've watched all of it recently, and It's unbelievable the amount of action scene. I was like, did this happen? Like,
Yeah, it holds up big time.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
almost like what are they called again? Sentinels.
And
you got that.
You got the mechs.
Yeah.
yes.
And I was like, how the hell did I not like? I'll bust in a nut watching it. I was like, this is anime like shit. Like what? Why did I not see this?
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
and I was blown away recently watching it, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got that massive face off with him as well. At the time when I watched it, I think I was more looking to forward that, but that still holds up. I mean, it's not like the fight scene is like over the top, but it's Matrix. Come on, everything's over the top.
Even the clubhouse scene and shoot at the beginning is pretty good as well.
Yeah,
That was
man.
wicked.
The issue with that film is that everyone enjoyed what was there, but then the ending ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
That was what, because people, in all fairness, the last two movies were hyping up this ending to this trilogy. So let's face it, we all went to see it to see the ending.
Absolutely.
Right?
They were 6 months apart, weren't they? When
Yeah,
they brought them out?
and this is what I'm saying. It's just like, because no one got the ending they wanted, it was automatically hated. And like you said, all this stuff with Zion, Fight Clubs, and all that sort of stuff was just thrown under the rug because no one liked the ending.
Totally agree.
I mean,
I see now.
at the time, maybe I was one of those, but I still regarded as this third film as really good at the time.
Yeah.
But watching it again, it just went, whoa, this is way better than what I thought.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right. Like, I generally liked the ending. I thought it was, him going to see that guy and then say, look, I'm going to kill him off, save Zion. And obviously, I think my eyes, I think he dies.
Yeah.
I think
because resurrection doesn't happen. I mean, I remember the opening night I went to see that because it was actually the same day I passed my driving test. Anyway,
nice.
and it was a packed out cinema. It was absolutely packed because this was what everyone wanted to see. You couldn't get past 2003 without Matrix 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone's face walking out of that cinema. Everyone was like, just like the look on their face was like, what the fuck did I just sit through? And I just sat there thinking,
No way.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was in two minds about the ending myself.
Yeah.
But it's what you said about taking about the rest of the film. Like, we just got through a battle of Sentinels and mechs and whatnot, and we got to see, what's the thing when they fly? Him and Trinity are flying into that big minefield of bombs and all that sort of stuff. Do you remember?
Like the Nebuchadnezzar?
Is that before?
They're trying to get to the robot city, aren't they? And then there's these massive machines shooting all these bombs.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is fucking...
You actually see what's
next
on
level
the other side.
anime shit and everything.
And you see all those other little robots come pick up Neo
That's
and
it.
shit.
Yeah.
You just see that massive face.
So
I get
much
it.
detail.
It's out over
So
the top.
much.
But come on, man. This is a sci-fi,
Defined
it's Matrix,
sci-fi.
dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have the first one where it's just like kept to just action, minimalistic, and they got the budget.
Yeah.
They bust it out on the number 2 Reloaded, and then just blew the top of this one. Like, seriously, I really think that mech scene is... Everyone should go back and watch it, because some of the things you see in that, it's just like, whoa, how long? When did they do this?
Absolutely.
But it holds up so well even now. I know I
Yeah.
keep going on, but that is one of my favourite scenes in that whole film.
Come on, you know what?
Like, there are other things, but that
There's so many good one-liners in that scene as well.
Man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
If we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do. Sorry, go. I didn't mean to
So,
interrupt.
we're talking about all like historic movie battles from Helm's Deep and everything like that. That really has to join
It's
the
the
list.
last stand of Zion, isn't it?
That is the last stand of Zion, the last human city, and everyone is giving their nuts to this.
Yeah.
Like they're literally like, take me now, like I'm gonna fight for human
And you see
survival,
it,
right?
man.
There's so many iconic scenes in that, and what Gal said is so true. That is literally the most overlooked scene, and I watched it recently as well, just before watching Revolution. What's that shitty one called? Sorry, the one that I actually forgot the name of it. Resurrections. Don't want to
Piece
remember
of
it.
shit.
Absolutely. I thought I'll prepare, watch it. It was before Christmas, just trying to get all my, my Matrix encyclopedia in check so I can go in and watch this, before Omicron happened and all that bullshit. But, and yeah, so that scene, and you're so right, Gal. Like, is the most iconic battle scene, and there's a bit where if you look at like the construct of Zion, and there's the one tunnel, the main subunit tunnel where all the Sentinels are coming through and they're all pushing through, and there's a bit where we're like, okay, if everyone aims their mech towards that and just shoot at that one direct spot, we'll just get as many of those Sentinels as possible. So they're all there and all like in a circle shooting away.
How terrifying is that scene, though? Just like, if I was there, I'd be shitting myself waiting for that drill to come through and all these robots coming out of it. Fuck that shit.
You can hear it. You can hear it in a tunnel, like the
Yeah.
rumble.
Sound effects.
It's like they can't. Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, the Sentinels are so smart. They decide to just envelope that shit and they just come at everyone, and then you've got like 3-4 different stories going on.
Yeah, you got the guys shooting them as well, and
Yeah.
then they got this one last bullet or something like that.
That's right. And you got the little kid,
Yeah.
the kid.
Neo,
who-
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
and he's reload. Oh, that is that one standoff with the thing, and he's trying to reload it.
trying to
and you're
reload it in. Exactly. And he gets in there and he's shooting.
man. And if
Exactly.
you pause
The two
it and
girls.
look at the CGI at that,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
When you
for-
pause
for
and
a-
look at it.
20 years ago, nearly.
That's insane.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
man.
20 years.
20 years
ago.
next year, isn't it?
2003,
What?
innit?
Oh my god!
That's
Seriously,
scary.
if you just watch that scene, well, no, you haven't seen it.
You need to borrow the 4K box set.
Dude,
I will.
Yeah, definitely watch it, John. It's so. There's another scene that
I have seen it, but I just don't remember it because I wasn't really into the Matrix films. But I
Yeah,
want
like
to
it
get back
wasn't-
into.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to watch
fair.
it, so I will watch it.
Yeah. There's one.
Watch
thing that
Resurrections is really good.
No,
Love Resurrections.
No, I'll stick with the original trilogy. So.
Yeah. There's one other scene in that I thought to myself, this is the first time we've seen it. And till recently, like the artistic part of me was like, this is so beautiful. But it's a bit where everything is dark and black and it's got that neon blue, the green and stuff like that. And there's a bit where like Trinity and Neo, like power couple are going like in the Nebuchadnezzar or whatever it was. No, it wasn't Nebuchadnezzar.
No,
It was
Nebuchadnezzar
another-
blew up, didn't it?
Yeah. So I think it was Jada Pinkett Smith's.
That's right, yeah, it's her ship, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So the Logos, that's right. So they're in the Logos, right? And they fly up towards the sky
the sun.
and they go through the clouds. And it's like, fucking hell, there's sunlight. This is what planet Earth is before they bleach the skies. And it was so fucking beautiful. I saw that and I was like, I almost had a
And
tear
it's
down my
literally
eye.
for 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds,
If that.
and you just get reminded, shit. Like, and you know what's so iconic as well? Like, it felt like they were going to heaven. That's what heaven is.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
As well, it's all these little symbology. Oh, it was beautiful, and then they go back down to hell. Right?
And let's talk about the end fight
That's
scene
quite a
as
good-
well.
yeah.
You've got to admit
Oh,
that
man.
Neo versus Smith. I used to have a statue of those two in the rain on that
wow.
scene. Yeah. And it was like a 2-part one. You had Neo one side, obviously, and you could connect them together. And it literally had the water ripples and everything. It was just like so good. Yeah. And I was I talking to you about it the other day? How they made the rain effect.
Oh,
So if you look at the rain, it's thicker than normal
Oh yes,
rain
yes,
is.
yeah, you did
Yes.
say yes.
And in order to do that, they had to add milk to water
to make
to
it thick.
thicker to make it bigger raindrops. So everyone thinks it's CGI. It's not. It's literally
Wait,
real
that's
stuff.
real?
It's real. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's blown
yeah,
my
you
mind.
told me. I think last week.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. Yeah.
That is
I
so
mean,
sick.
you can argue that fight is over all everything CG and over, but it is some.
Yeah, the fight is CG, but the rain itself is not, yeah.
but it's still good choreography. Like the fighting there, flying around.
a
It's just like
brilliant
a
fight.
anime fun fest for
Yeah.
if you enjoy. I know if you're looking for realism, you're not looking at the right place. This is
Absolutely.
a sci-fi. It's going to be over the top, man.
Yeah.
Just like we said earlier, leave your brain at the door. Enjoy the fucking film.
People
is
had
so
to
good.
people had to understand at the time, which they didn't. That anime heavily,
Influence.
influenced these movies. Like
Hence why
I think the
Matrix.
Wachowskis, let alone, said if there was no Akira, there's no Matrix.
Exactly.
And other, they did mention other movies. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, it just baffles me how this movie is so panned.
Yeah.
And I don't personally see anything wrong with it.
20 years ago.
And this is what we were fighting for at work the other day, and it was Steve Knight, by the way.
Steve Knight.
Yeah.
What was he saying?
He said he hates these movies.
No.
2 and 3. And I stood my ground saying, no, these movies are badass.
Thank
These
you.
movies are amazing.
Thank
Stephen
you for
Knight.
saying.
I don't know.
Anything else on that?
No, that's it, dude. I just still can't believe it was 20 years ago.
Well, 19
Yeah.
technically, but you're 20 next year.
Still.
You, sir?
Exactly. Yeah, I'd say, okay, definitely, like, I agree with Gal. And for me, number one, because it was that one movie where, again, it's like, this is amazing, right? And then you look at the reviews and you're like, oh, but then again, I felt that because I was like, oh, maybe it wasn't the best. And then I rewatched it and I was like, hold on, this is fantastic, mate.
It's an amazing trilogy as well.
Exactly.
And what makes me laugh is that everyone pans Reloaded as well.
Yeah. Yes.
But at the end of the day, people still went to see Revolutions more than Reloaded
No.
because everyone saw Reloaded and
Yeah.
obviously wanted to see what the next part is.
Yeah.
There was more people that I think Revolutions made more money than Reloaded did
Wow.
because of Reloaded. And how can people say they hated it? Because they all fucking sat through it at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
bollocks to them.
Fantastic. Yeah.
John, What's your number 4, sir?
I haven't done a lot of background on this one, but number 4 is Exorcist 2.
Oh wow!
Oh, really? You like that more than as the sequel?
I liked it. Yeah, it wasn't a bad film. It got
Number 3's good. Number 2, I can't really.
But then it's like it wasn't as good as the first one. Obviously, I mean the first one is like one of my all-time favorite films, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I think because not a lot.
It's totally different compared to the others.
It is. It's set 4 years later for a start, anyway. But a lot of the similar characters were back in it again, so I think it's got a very kind of like a samey vibe to the first one, but the story's a bit different than that.
If you ever want to see James Earl Jones dressed as a bee, and roars like a panther, watch Exorcist 2. I'm not joking.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, the man who voiced Mufasa and Darth Vader, dresses up like a bee or locust. No, it's a locust, I believe, and roars like a panther. Sorry, John.
Yeah, no, he does, yeah.
Oh my God.
But I like all the Exorcist films.
Yeah, so you're a big fan of Exorcist,
Anyway, Exorcist to end of, and it wasn't as good as the first one, but it wasn't a bad film either. And the critics fucking hated it.
Yeah, they did really pan it, didn't they?
They just, I still, like we were saying, I don't get why. But was it a case of they liked the first one so much?
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it?
They expected certain things to happen in the second one? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. They wanted, again, it's like Jurassic Park, and that's why they wanted that line in the bottle again.
Speed 2, Keanu Reeves isn't in.
Don't you dare diss me. Speed Cruise controls a masterpiece. It's in the top 5.
So that's my
good choice, sir. Yeah. My number 4.
I like it.
Here we go. Again, we're going to lose subs on this. Here we go. My number 4 is Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Wow.
Now, hear me out here. I love all the Terminator movies, including every single sequel, including Salvation, Genesis, Dark Fate. You come at me. I couldn't give a shit. Let's face it. I was such a huge Terminator fan, or still am to the day, to be honest. When 2 came out, it's like, how are they ever going to do 3? When 3 got announced, it's like, how are they going to do this? Yeah. Now, I get it. They changed the mythology, or they cheated it, should I say, because let's face it, when number 2 happened, you couldn't really do 3. But how can we not... So film comes away, how can we make it 3? We need to make some money off this shit. Yeah. Get Arnie on it. Let's do it. And obviously, it's a case of like, Judgment Day, regardless, is going to happen. It's only just been postponed. And that's how they got around it. Which, again, Terminator... It
kind of makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah, but then Terminator fans were just like, well, that doesn't make sense because, it was stopped, It was erased. So what is the point of still bringing it back? Anyway, if you watch it again, good fucking damn, some of the action in that movie is just amazing.
I just remember specific something with the coffin.
There's the coffin scene. There's the scene where the motorized crane goes through a building and stuff as well.
Oh my God!
There's the part where the crane flips over. There's the part with like I said, the coffin, the minigun shootout and everything. Oh my God! There's so much to this. It's like,
and she's got her hand.
You got the Terminatrix as her. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger back. I mean, he even got Jim Cameron's blessing to say, should I do this movie? He said, yeah, if you're getting paid shitloads enough, do it.
Wow.
It's so, I remember seeing this movie in cinema, and I was just like, I could not have a bad moment with it. Yeah, they changed John Connor's character or whatnot. But then
that's the only thing I didn't like.
Yeah, and then they added like a thing with his wife and all that sort of stuff. But then again, we don't know John Connor that well in the future, so that could still go well. And they ended it so well as well. Like, obviously Skynet's kicked in, and
them two are trapped in somewhere.
They go to Crystal Peak. Do you remember it was called Crystal Peak? Yeah. And it's essentially where the resistance starts. He's like, there's the part where the man says, who's Connor? Who's in charge down there? And he's like, well, I am now. And it's like the beauty part. That's like, yes, this is where the journey starts. This is where we're going to carry on from here, which led to Salvation and whatnot. And obviously Salvation, again, for some reason, didn't do well, but it is a pretty good damn movie, to be honest.
Right. How does a Terminator die in that? Does he? He locks himself. He locks them inside.
So he sacrifices himself, doesn't he? He grabs his nuclear reactor and shoves it into the Terminatrix.
You
are terminated.
Yeah. That was good.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I really do enjoy Terminator movies. Again, they just leave you. Everyone really badmouth Genesis, whatnot. The thing with Genesis is that it tried to be something different. All right, they knew they weren't going to carry on from Salvation, so let's go back and do something different. Let's go back and alter time. Let's change it. Because if you think about it, as well as the Terminator movies being action movies, they are time travel movies.
They are.
You know, that's the whole point of these movies, is going back in time and changing the past to alternate history.
Yeah.
And that's what the beauty of Genesis was. They did that. They tried to alternate it. Unfortunately, it was very much like Force Awakens, where they were going to leave questions behind for the sequel. And obviously, we never got another one. Yeah. So what did they decide to do? They decided to go back and say, you know, let's forget 4, 5, and 3 ever happened. Like Dark Fate was the actual sequel to Terminator, which is the most recent one, the recent Terminator movie. And then all of a sudden, they still killed John Connor anyway. So what was the point of it? Yeah. So just take it what it was, as very much like Die Hard. Leave your brain at the door and just enjoy these movies, man.
Absolutely.
I mean.
Because that movie came out in 2007, wasn't it? Or 2000?
No, Rise of the Machine came out the same year as Revolutions and Reloaded, 2003. 2003 was the year of sequels. We had a shit ton of sequels that year.
That was my first Terminator watching in a cinema.
Was it?
All the other ones were like
Terminator 3 was meant for cinema or a decent cinema surround sound. Like even like the Terminator and the Terminatrix have a couple of fight scenes in there. There's some damn good fight scenes in there.
Arnie gets flung around in that.
Yeah.
Big time.
And he like stomps on her head a few times, and like there's even like, this is a 12 rated movie, right? It's got the F-bomb in it, and there's a part where the Terminator shoves his hand through a man's chest and drives a steering wheel. And the hand's covered in blood and everything. This is a 12 rated movie.
Wow.
So they got proper far, you know, with this.
That's insane.
So I can't really go anything else into. So Terminator 3, but I am kind of saying the other Terminator movies as well. I really would back up any day. I fucking love them and enjoy them.
I love Salvation.
Yeah. So let's go to number 3s.
3.
Number 3.
So originally I had down Prometheus, but obviously
it's a prequel, so it doesn't count.
Yeah. So last minute I changed to Covenant.
Oh,
it's still a prequel.
It's a sequel to a prequel.
It's this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it to you. Yeah. Okay.
So
it's a sequel to the prequel.
He got away with that one.
Got away with it. So
a good call though.
Good call.
I mean, I think both of these films. I mean, I'll start with Prometheus. I'll go back to what you said. Like, did you ever? What was the question where I said I can't talk about it?
You ever go back and change your mind on it?
Yeah. So Prometheus was the one where I watched it and I was like, "This is a load of bull." Like, you know, like at the time, like not bull. I was like, "Oh, it's okay. I want to see more aliens." And then I love that's where I met at, and I kid you not, we will talk about Prometheus on night shifts constantly, and we'll be like, "Oh man, but did you know this?"
Still do.
Yeah. There's so many unanswered things in there, and it's just like, well, what if? And
but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So I was when I met Ant, and Ant was like, I told him it's not that, and it's why, and then he actually made me. Like I said earlier, like he made me think about it, and I was like, dude, I need to go back and watch it, and I watched it. I've got to say, this is one of like Ridley Scott knows his sci-fi. He's one of the best at sci-fi.
Hells
Sci-fi like Blade Runner. It's fucking sick. You know, the way his scenes, his shots are amazing. Realistic to the point where like you can believe in that world, that this world exists. Yeah. Like the way, I don't know if it's a CGI or mix of practical effects with it, but I don't know how he does it. It's amazing. And Prometheus does. I know it's not my list, but I'll move into it. Yeah. So because obviously Ant told me about Prometheus and rewatch it, and I appreciate it more. And then Covenant came out, and at the time I was with the crowd saying, "Oh, these films are not as great. They're not good." Because you go in there expecting, I want to see more aliens. I want to see, but it's not. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
After speaking to Ant, you realize that's not what it's about. It's about
there's a bigger thing.
The bigger thing. So
bigger picture. Yeah.
So what Covenant does well is that, like, I feel sorry for Ridley because Prometheus kind of made the fans, because the
opinion.
reactions he got from the fans were like they want more alien. And in Covenant, I feel like he changed, and I think he did maybe changed his whole story and put more aliens in it. Which
forced, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like forced, and that's why I think you don't actually find out.
That was the thing.
About,
for me, it was more about the story.
Yeah,
and
that's why we don't
follow the story of where they came from and so on. But so you're going to get to a point where you don't need to put them in it because you're trying to explain. And he, like you say,
that's why it's some of the things like you don't find out about Naomi, do you? Like what's her name? Sure.
Yeah, but they filmed it.
Yeah, exactly.
They just never put it on
they
there.
put in
You can watch it on
more
YouTube.
Yeah. So Covenant does. It's still a cracking film.
they're all good films.
Like some of the aliens in that, the way they, I think
that scene though when the aliens on the ship and they're flying around and she's hanging. That's a damn good scene,
yeah,
dude.
I love that scene. I want to say it's probably one of my favorite look like alien. I think it's fucking sick. And you told me it's an actual guy in that suit.
Yeah. So
wow.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a horror film that came out a few years ago. It was like a Spanish-made horror film, but it was actually an American-funded movie. It's called Mama, and it's produced by Guillermo del Toro. And basically, he's a man who he's got some sort of disease where I can't say disease, deformity, where his arms and legs are longer than his actual body. So the part where you see that thing crawling and it turns around and looks at the camera and it does the famous, I think it's on the front cover of the DVD or whatever. Exactly. That's an actual dude in a suit doing that. Yeah.
When you told me that, I was like, that's monumental. I think thing about what I feel bad. I really want to see his film. Like, if you watch the film, you could tell how Prometheus set up for the seat.
I want to see the director's cut.
Yeah, I want to see how it would have turned out because you could see it's been changed.
Yes.
Like even I think the beginning alien scene. I think that's not meant to be there. I think that's all even the scenes where like he drops the bomb on them. I think there's more to it. Like
by far, 100%.
But at the same time,
it's appeasement, isn't it?
At the same time. It leaves questions like before watching those films, I used to be like, "Oh, why has he done that? Why has he done that?" But I didn't appreciate why like directors make you guess. Like, but it doesn't need to be answered.
Yeah, it's not done on purpose though, because at the end of the day, Alien Covenant wasn't going to be called that. It was going to be an entirely different movie, and it got changed very last minute. It's very much like Spider-Man 3. Because I think the original title was called Alien Paradise Lost. That's what it was going to be called, and it was about going to that planet, figuring out what it was. Yeah. But then all of a sudden the studio was like, well, we want to make this a trilogy now. We want you to do this and that. And we want to put CGI. So, the very end scene when the alien gets out on the ship in the end. Yeah. That was all CGI'd for the film. But Ridley Scott actually put a dude in a suit and did it properly. Like, if you ever watched the making of it, dude, he actually shot it way much differently. That's not even a word, differently. Way much different. And the studio just got involved with it because it was meant to be out a lot later. I think it was meant to be out of October of that year. And they pushed it forward to May to get into a summer release.
# Ridley Scott cut.
Yeah. So I guarantee there's a different cut of that movie. 100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
I want to see it.
That's interesting.
As bad as people said it was, I still enjoyed it. And,
dude, if you ever find I'm sure you got the DVD of it or Blu-ray of Prometheus. Like, there is like 40 minutes of deleted scenes. Like, you can tell it was done for a different cut. Like, there's a scene where they find alien skin in the derelict ship and all that sort of stuff.
Dude.
Yeah, there's so much, dude.
So
and the original,
they obviously shed their skin then.
Do you remember the dude who...
did you know that? No.
Who gets his face melted in Prometheus and whatnot.
Yeah.
So when he comes out, he looks like a zombie when he goes back to the ship, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch the deleted scenes. His original design, his head is the shape of a xenomorph.
Wow.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, his head kind of get big.
Yeah. Oh. So they kind of CGI'd it, but they changed it to whatever practical makeup is for the actual movie. But in Prometheus, he has an actual shaped head of a xenomorph. There's so much that what it could have been. But yeah, I see where you're coming from totally. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like, even the question of who, I think that both films had this who's our creator and stuff like that. When I first originally watched it, I didn't see all that.
This is the problem.
And I can see why people they're going with expectation, and that's the downfall. I think
the issue is it's such a tough subject to do. Like, who created us? Because at the end of the day, it always goes to if they created us, who created them?
Yeah.
And you can't answer stuff like that. So Ridley had a
Religion
challenge.
gets involved,
Ridley had
doesn't
the
it?
challenge of challenges, and unfortunately it's going to be a trilogy that will never be finished. You know, the bloke's in his late 80s. There's no way he's going to do Alien 3 or Alien Covenant 3, whatever you want to call it.
Someone needs to finish it.
There's rumours that it's going to be a series now on Disney Plus, but
really?
yeah,
Disney again. God almighty.
because they own it now. Disney own it now.
It's a shame,
Wow.
man, because
They don't own aliens, though, do they?
They do, yeah.
out of the
I know.
both of them,
The thing is, on Disney Plus, they have all the Alien films except Aliens. It's the only one they don't have.
Yeah, but
Why?
it's I don't know why, but I think that's a Jim Cameron thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to
Okay.
say I didn't. That's
Okay.
why I
Out
thought
of-
they didn't own the
out of
rights
both
to
of
that.
them,
They've
I
got
think
them all. Other
Prometheus does a banging job.
Okay.
Like from the suits to like the CGI on the Prometheus
ship
ship
and
as
stuff.
well.
Covenant's got some good scenes in though.
So
the
good,
problem
man.
I have with things is you
And you don't even see the alien until the end. That's,
Yeah, but
it's
you-
not
Yeah,
even
the
about
beauty
the
of it.
alien. That's the
you
beauty
you
of
need
it.
to have faith in your director or your producer. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, if you're signing Ridley Scott up to do a film, if there's a chance that it will become good and it might become 2 or 3 films, you let his vision run with it.
Yeah, but, you know, too
Stop,
much
you
money
know,
involved.
don't-
mate.
Exactly. They
much
bring
money
money
involved.
into it, and it's like, oh no, we want that change now because we want this in it and that in it. And he's like, sake.
Exactly.
I'm funding it. I want it in there.
Yeah.
Anything else on that, sir?
No, that's it, mate.
Nice. Yours was
choice.
speed. Yours.
It's number 3, isn't
Your
it?
number 3 is Speed 3 wasn't it?
That was
Well,
my
one
number
more.
4. So my number 3
Was it
is...
number 4?
Hang on.
Yeah. So my number...
Because didn't
Go
you
for
didn't
it. Oh,
you
yes, you're
cancel
right, it
each
was.
other
Yeah,
out?
yeah. So it's number 3 now, isn't it? We are.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're on
yeah,
3.
okay.
Now we're on 3.
So this one, now she'll be so proud of me. Okay, it's
Good
Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh no!
Oh, nice one. Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie.
I'm not a big
you
fan
know-
of them,
I'll
but
tell you what,
I
It's
get it.
one of
I
the
get
better
it.
ones, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
After this, it
probably-
went downhill.
Exactly.
1, 3, and 5 are pretty good.
Yeah, because number 1, obviously the OG. Number 2 wasn't so.
Yeah, I
big
saw the
about
first
it.
one and I didn't bother with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Number 2 is when
right.
Ludacris came in with the afro.
Yeah, it was like really. Yeah, but then
So
I went
bad.
to see. It's so bad. I remember to see Tokyo Drift when it came out in the cinema because my friend wanted to see it. Okay, let's
Yeah,
just go
sure.
check it out. And I liked the whole because at the time, very very intrigued about the whole Japanese thing and the culture and everything. And you see a lot of that in this movie. It's just it's a movie about cars and stuff like that. Also, at the time, I happened to be playing Need for Speed. I think it was a Need for Speed Underground game. It's called Need for Speed Carbon, and it was
Right
based
up
on
your
the
alley,
Same,
yeah.
like the whole like drifting around the mountains and all this and all that. It was really really cool. And the movie came out, and to be honest, I really did enjoy it. The same thing. It was just a fun movie. Like, boots on the ground, no flying into space, none of that shit as what happened on the later movies, the infinite runway, none of that,
Yeah,
right?
God.
It was still, ridiculous. Yeah, it was just a kid.
Vin Diesel's flying headbutt.
Yeah, it was just like this kid who'd had like a hard time in America, always getting arrested and getting into trouble, and disciplined, and he's been moved out to Japan to live with his dad, who's like an army ex-army brat and stuff, living in Tokyo. He lives with him, and then he goes back to his old ways, and he gets into trouble. He meets Bow Wow, which is so funny, and then you see a lot of this like the Japanese culture and stuff, and it was really really fun. Yeah, and the iconic, the theme tune to it, the music and that, as you know, like if you want me to, we live in Tokyo. Yeah, that iconic song, like absolutely iconic song. So it's but the movie itself, like even just the cars and everything, like I'm a fan
I love
of
the
Fast
scene
and
where they
Furious.
just go
Like,
through. Should be up.
yeah, and they drift around and stuff.
Amazing.
And what made it really good is that I think because when we went to Japan, like years later, you kind of experience it. And it's, when you watch like movies that take place in Japan like this, and even like Lost in Translation and stuff like that, and then you kind of live it, and you kind of like, you see.
Love
all
that
stuff.
movie.
Yeah.
Lost in Translation.
It's
Such a good movie.
Such an amazing movie. Oh, love that. Love it so much. Yeah, that movie really did put it on. But yeah. For real, this movie, it for me, I just thought it was a sequel that people put down. Again,
No, to be honest,
really
I
bad.
put it down because I knew at the time that Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, they were like, we don't want to do this franchise anymore. We're going to
Yeah.
go off and do our own thing. He was doing Riddick.
Yeah.
Paul Walker would have to
Doing
do
his
like
own
Joyride,
thing.
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So the reason I left it was because, what's the point? If none of the original are coming back, why
What's
should
the
I watch
point?
it? And I
Exactly.
thought, no, to be honest, it what else could they do? And then,
Yeah.
like I said, they brought a new character and a completely new story.
Yeah.
Some of the driving in that, the drifting in that is
Insane.
unreal in that movie.
When it just
Yeah.
goes sliding, drifting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And like, it's this thing that, so it's like a sport in Japan, right? It's a real thing. And they actually hired a driver who's actually champion. He's a champion at that, like drifting around mountains. And like, it's such a difficult thing to do in motor racing in general, to go at high speeds and to drift around like these corners and stuff. It's just, you know, you need the attention and the focus to just do this. And he even makes an appearance in the movie. So anyone who's really into their motorsports and stuff, they recognize these iconic figures.
Yeah.
And he's a guy in a fishing rod, and he's like, yeah, that was pretty good. You know, like, he kind of approves it. So he was like also the stunt choreographer of the movie as well.
Oh,
So,
right.
you know, he kind of like, well, the car stunts, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he was in
Need
charge
to
of
watch
that
it
and
again.
stuff. So yeah, it was really, really cool. Yeah. Just again, like a fun, stupid movie. You know, they're in high school. At the time I was in high school as well, kind of, you know, like sixth form and stuff. So you can kind of relate to like, you know, being a kid and wanting to drive cars and stuff. So,
Did you drift out of school?
on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, short and sweet. But yeah, Tokyo
Nice. That's a
Drift.
good pick, though. Still, I quite like 3, to be honest. But yeah, it's a good choice.
Thank you. Yeah.
John, number 3.
Number 3. 2016 film,
Okay.
Independence Day Resurgence.
Interesting.
out of here.
Really?
It's so bad I haven't even seen it. That's how bad it is.
Oh, that movie could have been so much better. But it has some good moments, though.
Yeah,
like-
I totally agree. It could be a lot better.
Yeah.
But
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. I watched it maybe 6 months ago, a few months ago anyway.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed it. I was expecting other things to happen in it, as you do from having watched the first one.
Yep.
No, I liked it. I thought it went okay. It wasn't a bad. I didn't think it was a bad film. I didn't get to the end of it and go, oh, "Fuck me."
The thing is, it ends on a cliffhanger, and it's just like it's never going to happen.
Well,
it's so annoying.
Yeah.
But no, there were moments like Jeff Goldblum's as good as always. Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum, whatnot.
Oh, he's in that, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's the main guy, isn't it?
And
At the end of the day,
what's
it's
it,
just
Brent-
like, you had a few other people return from the original one, whatnot.
Brent
Yes.
Spiner made me laugh with his long hair.
This
and
is
that,
it.
so-
It's,
Oh,
and, you know,
So
you
it
got
had its
the new
moments.
Alien Queen in there and
Yes.
whatnot. So as I say, there's some good moments in it, but overall, it's
was
just
it a great film? No, but did I enjoy it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your
Why
choice.
I liked
Dude.
when they went onto the ship and and they like the AI. helped
You actually got
and
to
so
see
on.
it properly
So,
and stuff, yeah,
exactly.
because you
That's
only
what
see bits of it in the original.
I think that's what I enjoyed about it, and then you get to see like how big the ships were, because
Yeah.
when they go like is it South Africa or somewhere, they go and one of the ships is there.
Right.
And
I say the new ship in this one is huge.
I mean the
Serious.
ships from the
because there's a part where it
Yeah.
lands and he says, "Oh, it's over the Pacific." What part? She says, "Is the whole of it."
The
It's
whole
like
of
it's a
it, yeah.
massive
Oh my
ship.
god! It's
Yeah.
the actual ship from the original Independence.
It's like the
Day.
mothership sort of
The
thing.
mothership.
The mothership.
The
yeah.
mothership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because those ships from the
The
original.
OG one's way better.
So,
Scary.
like
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it kind of not explain things, but you kind of got to see things that you didn't see in the first film.
I might have to watch this because I loved Independence.
It's not a bad film. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Pretty good.
Good choice, dude.
I thought it was smart because, like, also because maybe I saw a bit of it and then I didn't really finish it. I need to go again. But I love how they kind of like before Independence Day, it was 1997. The world as it was and stuff, and now they defeated it. They've incorporated.
Yeah, it's 20 years later,
technology.
and they got some of the tech and stuff.
Yeah, and they've incorporated it. I find that quite amazing how they kind of
Yeah, because it was literally
brought
20
that in.
years
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
the last one, wasn't it?
Exactly.
So yeah,
That's right. Yeah. So it's almost like if that happened back then, like we would be incorporating all that technology.
The guy who plays Will Smith's son in that movie, shoot that fucking actor.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, so bad.
No, the little kid is now.
And not to mention, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth's brother's in that as well. He's fucking crap as well.
Seriously. Oh my god.
The
I
hell
looked
was
at
that
him, I thought,
smell?
really?
Yeah, number one, we need to do commentary corner.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Big
Yeah,
time.
100%.
Please.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that in ages.
I was blown away. Like
And I got it in 4K as well, so yeah.
No, we
definitely
have to
into
do
it.
that.
Yeah, I was like we were just saying, I was blown away with the size of the ships, because in the first film you only ever see the ships that they've brought to Earth, whereas in the second one you get to see how big they actually were, and they were fucking huge. And then this great big fucker turns up, and he's like almost half the size of Earth.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling how big it is.
Like every sequel, it's got some good moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it as a film, like you say. It got a bad review, but I still enjoyed it. So
why not?
It's your listed. We don't discriminate here.
No?
of course not. No.
My number 3. Right,
Come on.
Jesus.
we're going to go on a while on this one here. Right, so I won't get as many lost to subs on this one, but so my number 3, short and sweet, is Alien 3.
Oh,
Okay. So Alien 3 is, if anyone knows its history, it went into production hell for years and years, and it was going to be, this is how the movie's going to be like. Oh, and then this is how the movie's going to be like. And then the original idea for the movie was that it was going to be set on a planet made entirely out of wood. And it's going to be monks living on there, and Ripley would crash land on it, obviously impregnated with an alien. And because it was monks that were on this planet, when the alien comes out, it's they personified it as the devil. Right, like the devil has come onto this planet, and it's all her fault. It's a woman's fault. Rah, 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 rah. That was going to be the original idea, and it went into production. It went into like casting and everything, and all of a sudden, it fell fucking flat. Obviously, I think it was going to cost too much or something. So, what did they decide to do? Oh, okay, we're now going to do this movie instead, and it's going to be about Ripley going on a prison planet full of men. Same concept, but without the religion in it, basically. And now we're going to pick this director who's never directed a movie his entire life. He's come straight from, making music videos. He made the very famous Vogue music video from Madonna. Wow. And then we're just going to tease the shit out of him, and we're going to pester the shit out of this guy. And if anyone doesn't know who the director is, it's the famous director David Fincher now, who obviously went on to do Seven and Fight Club, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
This was his first ever movie.
He did Alien 3.
He did Alien 3. Yeah. And I really feel sorry for this guy. Do you know, to this day, he will not talk about this movie. You will never get him on like a making of or a commentary or anything. He despises this film. All because of what he went through for every single producer who treated him like shit, who punished him by, you need to get it done by this time. You need to, because they filmed it in England as well. So he was away from his family and stuff as well. So he was there in England for months, not seeing his wife and kids, whatever sort of thing. And for what he made with all this pressure, I don't think it's that bad a movie. And you look at it now, and you might kind of appreciate it a lot more now that I've told you this when you watch it. And then obviously in 2003, we got the DVD was out at the time, so a big box set came out, and we finally got to see the original cut of this movie, which to this day is still my favorite director's cut of all time. So spoilers for when we do the director's cut episode. But as a sequel, compared to other ones like Alien Resurrection's a piece of shit. But Alien 3, because it doesn't have any action in it, because there's not many soldiers in it, it doesn't have any aliens in it, because it's just one alien in this movie. It's gone back to the basics of the first movie, just one alien. It is a damn good film. It's very well shot, especially the part where the aliens chasing him through the tunnels and corridors, and the camera spins around and goes on the ceilings and everything, just as a touch of a button. It's so good. And, there's a couple of scenes where they started to CGI the alien, and it does look wank. But again, for the time, the budget they had, whatever, for the fact that they killed off one of Hollywood's biggest characters, Ellen Ripley, everyone just hates this movie, and I don't think it deserves the punishment it gets.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. I mean, it's well written. The characters are so good as well. Charles Dance is in it, and Charles S. Dunton as well, who was from Menace to Society. He's brilliant in it as well. Some of the one-liners in this movie are just fucking awesome as well. It just, I quote this son of a bitch so much, don't I? Because I love some of the lines in this movie. Oh man, it pains me to think that people really hate this film, and it deserves way more love. And I stick to my guns when anyone says Alien 3 shit. And, come at me, challenge me.
I think a lot of it, though, is they don't realise the efforts that the director puts in to make some of these films.
To make the movie, yeah.
And it's like we've just said, a lot of the time it is money.
Just like, I'm giving you money to get it done.
I want the film out now. Yeah. Hurry up and get it done.
I can see why they chose
start
him
making
as well.
money now.
If he's a new director, you can boss him around.
Yeah, and the fact that they killed off two characters from the other, they killed off Hicks, they killed off Newt as well. Which kind of goes, when you watch Aliens now, it's like, well, what was the point of the ending if they're going to kill them off in 3? which goes back to Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
He was going to make Alien 5, technically 3. They were going to say that forget 4 and 3 ever happened. This was going to be Alien 3, but it was actually Alien 5. Yeah. That movie would have fixed everything. But again, 20th Century Fox decided to stick with Ridley and go with his trilogy, which is never going to happen now. So again, another wasted opportunity. And let's face it, Scorny's never going to get younger at the end of the day, so it's not going to happen. No. It's such a shame. I mean, I'm nothing against Ridley. I wanted Prometheus 2 just as much as everyone else did, but we didn't get it either way, so what was the point of it? So that's why...
She's such an iconic female actor.
Come on.
Ellen Ripley is by far my favourite
100%
movie character of all time. You got James Bond, you got Indiana Jones. Come at me, I don't care. Ellen Ripley, and it's a woman. Yes, I know, but fuck me. True, as a character, she is phenomenal, so and I stick by her any day. So that's why Alien 3 has got to be number 3. We're going to go to the number 2s.
I've already got one.
Number 2.
Did you jump at that again, mate? Yes, you've only got one left. What's your number 2, sir?
Star again. I did the same thing as before. I put Star Wars Phantom Menace, then I realized, well, hang on a second, that's the first one. So
it's the sequel to a prequel. Here we go.
One of my favorite Star Wars films of all time, Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, nice.
So,
yes.
I think
it didn't get a bad rating, you know that, right?
The trilogy, as a trilogy,
yeah, baby.
Come on, this is the thing. When all these films came out, everyone was like, "No, the original's OG, man. It's the best." And as a child, I never got to see the original films.
Yeah.
So these were coming out at my age. And I was like, "Oh yes, Phantom Menace. Oh, sick. What was Clone Attack? Was it
Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones? Yeah.
I still enjoy that one. But
Attack of the Clones is poo though.
It's poo, but Revenge of the Sith
is the granddaddy.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I lived in the time to see this film. But now it's like, I know it's getting all the praise. Oh, it's a cult now. It's really good. Phantom Menace was always good. I was like, no, people were like grilling the shit out of it. I watched that. I remember Phantom Menace came out, and I got the game as well. The game was
badass,
sick.
Yeah,
for its time.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
But anyway, I think I previously mentioned this film in another episode, but I'll do it again because I love this film.
Yeah,
because Obi-Wan, let's stay at one of the best Jedis. He takes on Grievous. He takes on Anakin.
He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
He's underrated. Obi-Wan. He's killed what's his name? Darth Maul. Yeah. Badass.
Or did he?
I like what you did there. Obviously, you get to see Order 66 being pulled off.
Being executed,
it's quite emotional because, you have all the Jedis get killed off, sorry.
The creation of Palpatine. Creation of Vader.
I love the scene where they're in the opera sort of thing, and Anakin and Palpatine is sitting down next to him, and he tells the story of the backstory of Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis, that's right, yeah.
And I love that because things about the old original one is where the backstory of that Anakin, Darth Vader, him being a really Luke Skywalker's dad, and you're like, oh, what was he? Was he really good? And you find out, and you got to see this trilogy, and I was like, I really hope they do this as well. You get to see, I don't know, the Darth Plagueis story, who was he? It was really cool, and he's like, how he's trying to manipulate him there already, he had the power to, I think, cheat death or something. I can't remember.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, supposedly.
And obviously you have Yoda.
He's got the power to cheat death, but he's dead. So go carry on.
Yoda versus
Darth Sidious, yeah.
Badass scene. I know it's a CGI, but there was flaws. I think this was still at a stage where everything was CGI, so the actors were having hard time pretending.
Because George Lucas found out about digital stuff, so that's how it went on from there, wasn't it? Yeah.
So Yoda versus Yoda, man. Come on, man. I remember watching the old ones, and I'm like, imagine Yoda taking on Emperor.
Don't forget you've got the Dooku fight as well.
Exactly.
You've got Kashyyyk. The Battle of
Kashyyyk is sick. Dooku fight is sick. And the General versus Grievous is one of my favourite. Come on, man. The guy just jumps on some sort of...
Did you know that scene was done by directed by Steven Spielberg?
Shut up.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, the whole fight scene?
Not the whole fight scene. The part where he fights him and then shoots him in the heart sort of thing. That's all Steven Spielberg.
Wow.
Because apparently he just finished making Munich and he was bored at the time. So he said to
yeah.
like George, "Can I do something? Can I help you out with this?" He goes, "Well, I need someone to do this scene for me." So the actual fight scene between Obi-Wan and that whole thing where he does that, that's Spielberg.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my like. If you don't, General Grievous makes his first sort of appearance in this film. I knew about him from the animated show where he's actually in it, and you're like, whoa,
he is devastated in that show.
And then when he just takes his cloak off, and they say true to it as well because. Mace Windu damages his heart, and that's why he's always like coughing. So they followed it through anyway. And when he just releases his claw, and you just see like his both 2 arms come out, then all of a sudden he goes poof, and you get 4 arms. He's like, Jesus Christ, how is fucking Obi-Wan?
And this is the thing, is that people get confused with Grievous because they're like, why is a robot coughing? He's not a robot.
He's not, yeah.
He's an alien life form in robotic armor.
I knew that without even knowing
but loads of people don't know is the thing. Because they just see the robot. They're like, why the fuck I remember my dad saying, why the fuck's he coughing? It's a robot.
And obviously, I did say General Grievous versus Obi-Wan, but I really love the soundtrack and this fight scene, Anakin versus... Obi-Wan. Oh my god! Like people were saying, it was like over the top. Like it went on for hours. Fuck! Give me a like.
Yeah, but they cut it between other scenes.
Yeah,
as well,
I know.
So it's
but like the old films, like what it left me is as classic and amazing they are. I wanted more lightsaber fights,
right?
And this film gave it, man. Like the fight scene with Obi-Wan and Anakin, amazing. Like. You're my brother, Anakin. Like those
you were the chosen one.
Yeah.
Emotional. So sick. Yeah, exactly. Emotional, right? I left. I bunked school to watch this with my brothers.
Whoa.
Yeah. Look at you now.
Fucking on it.
On a podcast that no one listens to.
That's liberties. But anyway, I don't give a shit. I love this film. And you actually see, like, there's some evil scenes, man. Dark scene where he actually kills children, like, like mental.
I've seen it.
And you finally, like, actually see him become Darth Vader. And when you hear his voice as well. Like, for me, like, as soon as, like, he puts his mask on. You actually hear, like, I just had to hear his voice. I was just yes, this is what I live for. So I think, but apart from that, like, it's a solid film. And I'm glad at the time now that it's becoming like, it's classic now, But I stayed true to it. Like, I always liked all the 3 of them. Like, as bad as number 2 is, as a trilogy, it's still wicked. And this is the icing on the cake on the trilogy.
Can you finish the quote?
Nice.
I'll do it, yeah?
Go on.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I don't know.
I am the
Senate.
yeah.
That's right. Shit.
That's your line.
That's my line, yeah, sorry. Do it.
You see, Anakin, I told you, the Jedi take it over.
Oh, man.
Jedi take it over.
The Jedi take it over. Unlimited power. I have the power to save the one you love.
Oh, man. He just cuts some his hand
No,
off.
do you know what? That episode 3 has a damn good opening scene, that space battle. How the writing goes and it pans down and then all you see is these ships quietly going over one another and then these other 2 ships you follow.
The intro?
Yeah. Just follows it. Like, that would be awesome for like a 3D movie or something.
I've got to say, like, the CGI in the previous films is not as great in this one.
I
think so.
I think the pod race stands out well, mate, as CGI.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
But this, I'm just saying, it was a step, like, as number 3 does stand out in this.
Oh, totally, yeah, 100%. Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout, sir.
Such a good shout. Yeah.
Go cool. Your number 2, sir.
Right, my number 2. Okay, this one, very interesting. Okay, and I think we've spoken about this before, actually. Okay, I'm going to say it. Godfather Part 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
I feel dirty.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
No, but in all fairness, I've not seen the new cut.
The new car.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Anne, new car, it does a bit of justice, not going to lie. The end scene. The reason why number 3 did it for me is because The Godfather, it's a slow pace whiskey. It's like drinking whiskey. Just have it nice and slow. You don't down it or anything like that. You just sit there, you understand the movie. Like the first one, amazing. undoubtedly they're saying the second one is the best Godfather. Everyone kind of says that. So number 3 is like absolute shit. That's what they say, you know. But then I gave it a go. First time I watched it, yeah, you know, because I'm comparing it to the previous movies. I'm like, it's not that good. But then again, like delving more into it and the story of it, and again, it's just so deep and beautiful because it's a story about, you know, this guy who's kind of like come out of it and he wants to literally come out of the whole mafia lifestyle. He's trying to look for legitimate ways to kind of like put his fortune in to launder the money, but at the same time to try and do something that's a bit more legit for his daughter's sake, you know, for Mary, right? And, you know, Mary's like such a good girl. Like, you know, she's like an angel. Like, you know, she wants to try and come up in the world. Anthony, the son's all grown up and he's like a lawyer, but then he doesn't want to be a lawyer. He actually wants to follow his passion into like theater and opera and stuff like that. You know, and it's just a proper family movie, right? And, you know, like, not that kind of family movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Definitely not. Yeah, I should say it's a movie about a family. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, and yeah, just most grotesque family movie. But yeah, in that kind of sense. But then as it goes on, and you know, like okay, I can see why people say it's boring.
I think
or
they keep
whatever.
comparing it to the other two.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But
Again,
in all
it's just
fairness, there was such a
comparison.
gap between 2 and 3. It's like
Huge. Like at least how many years? Like
it's a
many.
good 20 odd years or so,
Yeah,
wasn't it? And it's just like
absolutely. Yeah, it didn't really do justice.
his
in that
character had
sense.
got so old.
Yeah.
And just like, what are you going to do with this guy now? Seriously. It's
Exactly.
just-
This is it. And it's like one scene, and I think, again, I mentioned this like before, I must have mentioned someone else. There's a bit where he's having a heart attack, right? Like he's literally, Al Pacino's having a heart attack, and it's so realistic. And it's almost like, I think it's a bit like in Aliens when they didn't tell him about the alien coming out of the stomach.
Yeah,
and you get the real reactions. Because it looked like people on set convinced that Al Pacino was having a heart attack because their reaction was so unscripted. Like it was kind of like you can see some of them even looking into the back. Like, you know, it felt like it was really like he was having a real heart attack. These little things like that made this movie for me like really kind of stood out, you know. But the end scene, oh man, this spoiler. I guess maybe
yeah, it's like 30 years old. So
Exactly,
but that's the only
yeah.
good part of the movie. Really, is the ending.
Oh man,
The
that
empire,
was
yeah.
exactly, and it's just the way that
The
you know,
tension build on that scene as well.
is insane.
You talk about in the theatre house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The theatre.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Is
you
that when
know.
he's screaming?
And before that, yeah. So it's a bit where obviously,
that scene, like-
yeah, the old man, oh sorry, the hitman assassin is there with the sniper and he's trying
Set.
to kill, you know. And then, yeah, then all of that. But then at the end, and you think that's the end of it, and then, you know, little Mary's running down the stairs and then she gets shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I kid you not, I remember
Fucking
watching that. and I was
bitch.
like, it's like, oh my God. And like, just the way Al Pacino cries in that.
And
you
there's
know.
no sound,
There's no sound.
but
It's
you can hear it. Like as in,
Absolutely.
you can hear his pain.
literally you can hear his pain, but then the sound like comes back. And then he takes a deep breath and he just screams. And it's like any father would scream if your daughter's just been killed, you know? It's like, there's no emotion. It's probably the worst thing that you can ever experience. It's proper raw. Like, it's almost animalistic. It's that, you know, but that's real emotion coming out, right? And at the end of it, I was like, oh my God. And there's one time I watched it and I was almost like, oh, this is so emotional. Like, you know, all of that because he wanted to come out of this. He's doing everything for a daughter. Imagine like as a dad doing
Wanted him out.
everything. They brought him back in.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, as a sequel, this had to be like definitely. It was so close to being
How
my
does it
number
end?
one.
Does it go all out at the end? Or
So at the end, see, the original cut was he's there and he's sitting on his chair and he just passes out, and that's it. That's the end of it, right? Again, it's really.
But he
beautiful
settles
way done it.
everything like that. He kills all the guys, right?
Yeah, he kills the main guy who started.
Yeah,
all
but
this bullshit.
does he die or is he just having a nap? Is he being Godfather just having a nap?
Ah, exactly. Yeah, he could be just having a nap and he just
That's it.
lies down and drops it. Yeah, but then the cut, and I won't spoil the cut, but there's like a little change in the scene, and that's quite interesting.
Okay.
it's
Again,
quite
Nash
good.
should be
Yeah.
there.
No, she's like, oh, he
Yeah.
said Godfather. He's a big,
He's a big Godfather
Being in a
fan.
corner over there touching himself.
With his tiny little peen.
Liberties, mate. Liberty, man.
That's a good choice, though. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think that'd be
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I
So I
thought,
had to
to be honest,
find
I
out
thought
what
you were going to mention it before.
Did you?
Number
Yeah.
3, but
Yeah.
I guessed it.
Yeah, I like it.
I sent me and you out now.
So that's fine. That's us out. It's just John and Anne
Damn.
left now.
John, what's your number 2 then,
Yeah.
sir?
Number 2, one quite close to your heart,
Oh,
but not 1997 Batman and Robin.
Okay. No, it's not that close.
No. I think was it Batman Forever fan you are, aren't you?
I do like Batman. I think Batman Forever
Is that the one, Freeze?
No, that's the one he's talking about.
Batman and Robin.
I love that
Freeze,
one.
isn't it?
No, as bad it is, I love it.
That's again. That's what I mean.
used to do the
I
quotes
enjoyed
to
it.
it.
I remember. Do you know what? I remember seeing Space Jam that year, right? And it had a teaser trailer for Batman and Robin on it, and it literally was just the two logos combined to one another, and it comes up saying Batman and Robin. The next minute, there's a very quick shot of Batman and Robin flying, like air gliding with surfboards on, and goes past the camera. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. It's just literally one shot of them, and then the movie came out. John, why'd you like it?
I liked it because, I mean, obviously Schwarzenegger's character being Mr. Freeze and so on, you know.
It's time to freeze.
Every Freeze pun's in that movie.
Brilliant.
I pissed him off.
It's not a great film, but it's not a bad film. And again, it got, box office flop. Everyone fucking hated it. But I remember seeing it, quite a few years ago now. But again, I enjoyed it.
Same.
Right.
I was looking forward to it because it's like Batman and Robin. I thought, well, we're going to get the two characters in it now.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the best of them.
See this,
and again, this is the same year Speed 2 and Lost World came out. 97. This came out. This movie.
Wow.
See, like, if I was to watch it now,
the only one Tim Burton didn't do, isn't it?
He didn't do Forever either.
So if I was to watch it now, which I haven't done, and I will not because.
I'm
like, oh my god, this is so bad. I watched it as a young age, and I was like, this is sick. And then,
as a young age, I fucking love this movie.
That's the memory I have of it. If I was to go watch it now, I'll be like, oh my god.
And the thing is, though, this movie was pushed, it was marketed big time
because, like you say, because all these other films coming out,
and because many people, even though Batman Forever was slated, Batman Forever wasn't that bad a movie. It was gone in a different direction straight off the bat from Tim Burton's Batman, but it still was watchable, Yes. And then I remember the year this came out, my parents got me a VCR. For my bedroom, right? Because I was so into cinema at the time, I changed my room into a cinema. So I got my dad to install a dimmer, a lighter. I had a TV, literally the size of those boxes there. So it was a tiny thing, right?
I remember this.
I would get my parents to come in the room. I would sit them down with a movie ticket and everything. And the first movie we watched was Batman and Robin.
Wow, that's so cool.
I freaking loved it then. And then I watch it now and I'm like, yeah, it's not that great. What did I put my parents through?
There's a scene where they got the Batman's in his car and Batwoman's in the flying. I think
Alicia
Robin's on a
Silverstone,
is that from that?
yeah.
They're both.
She's Batgirl, isn't she?
Yeah, they're on all three vehicles.
Yeah, that's on the ice. So you got like a hovercraft, a bike,
That's
and
it. That was sick. Come on, man.
It's
the
not
kid
bad.
inside me is sick, man.
Of course, but that's what films do. Some films they do make you feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Is it a great film? Probably not. Is it a bad film? I don't think it is.
Stick around. I know it's wrong film. Wrong film.
Yeah.
Stick around.
But that's what a lot
Stay
of
cool, bird boy.
That's it.
but that's what a lot of the Batman films are. They do have these like silly one-liners and stuff from it. There's nothing wrong with it. That is it. That's what you expect from a Batman film.
I'm glad you put
except
it.
for
I still can't wrap my hand around it. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
Why not?
Doesn't make sense.
Why not?
But
it did in the film. But
to some people it did. Anyway, but
I think, like you say,
The guy
they're
from
obviously
Predator,
grabbing at straws, bringing in actors they thought might help push the film. But
I swear Bane's in it as well, right?
he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Serious.
But then I didn't know Bane then at the time, so it was just a character to me.
I remember it from the animated. I swear it's an animated series.
Yeah. I just thought it was a henchman at the time.
Yeah, and they had Poison Ivy in it.
Yeah.
see, I had a thought for another episode, but I'll tell you later. But go on. Then.
Okay. Is there anything else on that, sir?
No.
Okay, then we'll go.
It's so long since I've seen it, but I just remember that it's a film I liked. That didn't do very well.
Oh, he's looking at his name.
I'm trying to remember what it was. So my number 2 is a movie I still stand by as better than the original. Some people are really going to fucking hate me for this now.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, John Stickley, if you are listening, sir. I'm still sticking to my guns. I have a podcast show. You don't. Ghostbusters 2 is my number 2.
Oh my God.
I fucking love Ghostbusters 2. Wow. Ghostbusters 2 I still think is better than the original, but a lot of people obviously are mega fans of the original.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they weren't going to make the same movie at the end of the day. You couldn't. It's like trying to catch that lightning in the bottle again. Regardless of that, you got the old actors back and everything. You just couldn't catch that magic in there again.
Yeah,
I love this movie because I just. In all fairness, I saw this one, and it was just one of my first movies I got to see in the cinema. And my mum took me one night with my cousin to see this, and I remember it to this day. And I love the story. I love the actor, the characters in this. I love how it's shot. The bad guy, isn't as good as Zul or Gozer, but what are you going to do or going to come up with? Yeah. The pink slime thing was massive back when this movie came out. McDonald's, Burger King were doing all sorts of stuff. The figures, promo, everything. This was a huge movie when it came out. Bobby Brown's "Own It" song is amazing. It's one of my favorite movie songs of all time, and it will be in the top 5 if we do an episode of it. Well, I guess we're gonna have. It's so good. It's fucking awesome. And he mentions proton packs in the song as well. It's just, oh my God, it's so good. It's just, there are some great one-liners in this movie. There's also, I think some scenes that are better, like the courthouse scene is just so good. I could watch that scene over and over again. But there was like a YouTube channel I watch called Hack the Movies, and they done an episode on Ghostbusters 2 the other day, and they were mentioning parts how where Bill Murray didn't want to be in anything else Ghostbusters after the first Ghostbusters movie came out. Right, yeah. And they point it out, like there's scenes in this movie where he wears the same clothes over and over again. And I didn't notice this, obviously, until it was pointed out. Yeah. Because he just didn't want to be in this movie. He has no emotional connection to it. Yeah, but I still don't feel like that, I still think, he still did a good enough job, regardless if his heart wasn't in it or not. He was still Peter Venkman from the first one. Yeah. Like some great one-liners like 2 in the box, ready to go. We be fast and they be slow. It's so good. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it just I can't get enough of it, and it's got to be one of my favorites ever. God, you're never gonna remember, right? Because obviously this came out in 1989, right? So I went to see this movie, and then my mum took me to Burger King straight after, right? And they were doing like a Happy Meal version. They had, I can't remember what it's called. It was like
it's a Burger King version of it.
Yeah, kids meal, whatever it was. Yeah, and it wasn't a toy that came with the Happy Meal or kids meal, whatever it was. Right, it was a can, like a mini can of Coke, right, or Pepsi, whatever it was. Yeah. But it was light as a feather. All right, it just had air in it. Okay, but it was marketed that it had a ghost inside.
That is genius.
Right, okay. It's just like, don't open it. There's a ghost inside. I think you can still buy these on eBay for like £100 or so. It's ridiculous. It's literally just a can of air. But they marketed it so well, like, it has a ghost inside. So you didn't need a toy. All you had was a can of air. And they marketed this to kids.
Bastards.
Yeah.
What an amazing, but yeah, cruel marketing campaign.
Yeah, like I said, so many great scenes in this. Like even the cheesy Statue of Liberty coming to life and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mate.
The CG on the Statue of Liberty, right?
That's the thing, though. She wasn't CGI'd. They done a woman up, and so when she walks and whatnot, it's an actual actress in it. And then obviously when it comes to close-up shots, it's a model or whatever it is. Just, I mean, like I said, the bad guy wasn't all that, but there were just moments where it's quite chilling, and I like the fact how the slime feeds on the negativity of the city and stuff. That's how it grows. It's such a good idea.
Is Bill Murray in the second one?
Yeah. As I say, Bill Murray was. He wasn't connected to it much, but he was in it.
Yeah.
They're all back in it. Like Sigourney Weaver's back in it. They all have fun. Me and my wife have a laugh with this. Like, there's a guy in there. I can't remember what his name is. Who comes up with the worst. He's meant to be from Europe somewhere, and he talks about I'm from the Upper West Side and all that sort of stuff. Me and my wife always have a laugh at that character. And we had a Ghostbusters 2 table at our wedding as well.
No way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we love Ghostbusters. Me and the missus. But, that's my number 2. I love Ghostbusters 2. Sorry, John Stickley. So let's go to number 1.
It's number 1.
So, Big Gal, just to remind the audience, your number 1 was
should I do it? The Lost World.
Lost World. Go cool.
The Matrix Revolution.
Okay, Revolutions. And John, what is your number 1, sir?
My number one is Highlander 2.
Oh God, no! Sorry,
wow.
that makes me sick. Oh, that's so bad. I'm so sorry. I know we don't discriminate, but that is a bad pick.
I didn't know they did a second movie. Highlander 2. What?
Oh, dude. Oh.
Hey, ooh.
It wasn't a great film, but I enjoyed it.
But it's your pick, dude. I mean,
I enjoyed it.
And it's your number one.
My number one.
It's your number one. I would have accepted that as number 5.
Well, that's what I mean. I put my films in the order of would I watch them again, sort of thing.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So Die Hard being number 5, but yeah, I would watch that again. Highlander
Watch
2.
it again.
No, I wouldn't watch it again. Did I enjoy it when I first watched it? Yes.
It's your number one, but you won't watch it again. I love you, John. That's amazing. Oh, good. Right. Anything else on that?
Highlander 2.
Highlander 2, and I'm saying, right, this is the part where we are going to definitely lose subs on this. Because everyone hates this movie, and I admit, it took me a while to like this movie.
Okay.
Ready for this? My number one favourite supposed shitty sequel of all time
Here it comes.
is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Wow.
Everyone hates this movie.
There is one guy in
like
this
it.
room who hates this movie.
Everyone hates
doesn't
this
like
movie.
anything Indiana Jones.
And I just do not see why. I am such a big Indiana Jones fan, all right?
Thank
okay?
you, Anne. Me too.
And I'll give you credit. I mean, when this movie came out, I was so hyped up for it, and then I watched it. I'm like,
Yeah.
But watching it again and again and again, I just love this movie so much.
Yes. The Crystal Skull, is it?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, yeah. I
gonna
mean,
say
it
the
has
Lord of
some
the Whip.
annoying moments in it. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that. Like the Gophers, Ray Winston's annoying. We're Jonesy, and you know, and the obviously nuclear bomb survival through fridge, hiding in the fridge.
Yeah.
Let's face it. If you watch those other 3 Indiana Jones movies,
Yeah.
there are other way more ridiculous moments.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You know, like him flying off a minecart or jumping out of a plane on a rubber dinghy and surviving.
Yeah.
But he can't survive a nuke in a fridge. Indiana. The thing is Indiana Jones was based on James Bond.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and other things like Mask of Zorro and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is Bond. Just a very much earlier version, right?
Yeah.
So hence
Bond with
why
a
he
whip.
can survive
Right.
a nuke and, you know, jumping off a plane in a rubber dinghy or all this sort of stuff.
Of course. I see
Why
that.
people couldn't accept that in this movie? It's
you.
just like, God's sake, it's indie. What is...
It's indie.
Come on, right?
And this is the one with Shia LaBeouf.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it in the cinema.
AKA
Amazing
Young
movie.
Indie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Young Indie.
He is, yeah.
Get the hell out of here, man.
You can tell that
Well,
girl's
sorry,
a huge
There
fan.
is not
It's
one
3
person...
against 1.
Yeah.
There is not one person I know, and I know even bigger fans of indie
Yeah.
that really fucking hate this film.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the alien side of it as well. It's like, not being funny. I mean, this one is set in the 50s, okay?
Yeah.
Sci-fi was a massive deal in the 50s, whether you
Absolutely.
like it or not.
Yeah.
You know, this is when all the classic, you know, Earth Stood Still and all that stuff came out. The Blob and all that stuff. Anything that came
Had,
from...
the Roswell crash.
The Roswell
There-
thing.
exactly,
Yeah, I was gonna
yes.
say, that's a huge thing that influenced all
And-
these sci-fi movies.
And again, it's like, oh, Indy can do the quest for the Holy Grail, or he can find a ghost that's you know that's guarding the Holy Grail for centuries, but he's not allowed to find ET at the time or something. Aggravates the hell out of me. It really
Totally
does.
And when you think about it on a scientific kind of level, and sorry, that's probably the most realistic thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Of all
Out
of them.
all of them.
Yeah.
That it's crazy as it sounds.
Yeah.
It could happen.
But no, there's just parts where a lot of people are saying, well, if you take Harrison Ford out of it, it's just, another movie. It could have been anything else. It's like,
Right.
we'll take him out of Raiders of the Lost Ark or Temple of Doom. It's just another movie at the end of the day.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
it just
Thing is,
aggravates me.
They did actually
Yeah.
find a crystal skull.
Yeah,
Was
it's-
was it
Yes.
Aztecs or someone had it?
Is that-
Right, so
Inca
before
thing,
this movie
So,
came...
so the crystal skull actually existed.
Yeah.
So to base a film on him being an archaeologist and finding one, what was wrong with that?
Exactly. So before this movie came out, a lot of TV channels put on documentaries about Crystal Skull.
Exactly, yeah.
So, saying it was from, a different planet or could be from a different planet or such and such. So how people didn't suss out that this is where Indiana Jones was going to go in the day, it just baffles me how people couldn't get that.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones wasn't allowed to go sci-fi. And I just do not see why.
Absolutely.
What's the issue
Why
with
not?
it?
Exactly.
He's an archaeologist. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
He digs around in places looking for things, and they make a story about it. So why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
I never got the negative hype for it. So
yeah.
Yeah, and then there's even parts that even, I'm trying to find the word for it. That basically pretty much point at that it's going to be aliens, because there's a part where him and Shia LaBeouf are like going through a temple. They're like, they're doing, normal indie stuff, right? And he finds a head shape, and he goes, oh, God's head doesn't look like that. That's what Shia LaBeouf says. But then Indy says, well, it depends on who your God is. And we don't know what these people were praising back then. Look at pyramids now.
Yeah.
People say that's all to do with aliens, but if Indy discovered it was to do with aliens, no, you can't have that.
Exactly.
It's a shit sequel. But
I like that.
again, we had other returning actors like Karen Allen coming back from Raiders of the Lost Ark. She was just spot on as normal, and the fact that they reconnected their love and got back together and whatnot, I thought was really, really good as well. It was just a shame that there was such a big gap between Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Rumor had it was that what's his name? M. Night Shyamalan originally wrote a fourth movie not long after Sixth Sense come out.
Wow.
And it went really, really well. Spielberg liked it. Paramount liked it at the time. But then it went to George Lucas, and George was like, I don't like it. And that was the issue with George. It's like, because Indiana Jones was at the time owned by Spielberg and George, because they both created it, you couldn't do one without the other. They both had to agree on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was the issue with making the sequel at the time, is that other people liked it, but then George might have liked it, or George liked it, but then Stephen didn't like it.
That'd been so interesting.
So until it came into one thing, 19 years later was when they made the next one, obviously Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
And there is a line at the end of the movie where John Hurt's character, Indy's marrying Marion at the end of the movie, and they're all rushing into the church one night, and then the camera pans and passes John Hurt's character, and he says this one line I think is beautiful, because I think it's to do with the big gap between movies. He goes, "How much time is lost in waiting?"
Yeah.
And I think, wow, just like,
That's
if you're an
powerful.
indie fan, you knew what that line meant.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that marriage thing. It was all to do with the fact that we could have got 3 or 4 more movies at the time. And then all we did was get one that no one liked. And I'm so gutted to this day, no one likes Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to like Indy 5 when it comes out next July, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, because a long gap.
Again, because there's a long gap. And the fact that, that Harrison's nearly 80 at the time as well, so it's just like, it could have been passed to the torch, which they nearly did at the end of this movie, but they didn't. They gave it to, obviously Harrison kept it at the end.
Yeah.
There was always these rumours that Chris Pratt was going to be the next Indiana Jones, which isn't the case. No. But I will still be first in line for Indy 5, and I probably will still like it regardless, whatever else says.
I think they do need to pass the torch on now.
You reckon?
Because otherwise, because it opened. I mean, even if it's another 10 or 15 years before we get the next film again, at least, because we know there's no way
they change the actor. I might like it more.
But you know what I mean? It's like Ant said. Harrison Ford's nearly 80 now, or is 80 or whatever. He's not going to make another one.
Yeah.
So they either pass the torch on now, which then gives them the option to make another one, even if it is 10 years from now or whatever.
Give it to Idris Elba.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I see that.
That's it, guys.
Interesting to see, though.
Oh, that was. So
I think we did pretty well. A couple of clashes of you guys, but apart from that, it wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Turkey, but
It's really cool.
Highlander 2. Does anyone have any? Does anyone have any honourable mentions at all?
No, I didn't make one.
I had Terminator Genesis, but you mentioned it.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh,
It wasn't.
I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, so I
wasn't listed,
put
but
Predator 2. I quite like Transformers 3.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't.
Right, no,
but as an action movie, that movie has a shit ton of action, and I fucking love that.
yes. Yes, I agree.
TMNT 2, The Secret of Ooze, was so close to being on this list.
Okay.
Another sweetheart,
he's
guilty
a
pleasure for me.
He's a mutant.
Gremlins 2, the new batch. Spider-Man 3 I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I will, but now that you put a couple of from a trilogy in yours, Batman versus Superman.
Oh, right.
Everyone hates that movie, but I
Really?
fucking love Batman versus
I
Superman.
love that film. I thought
Yes,
Everyone hated it. Everyone else hated it. Yeah,
Christ, man.
it
What's wrong with the
got
world?
panned because
Hey.
he shouts, "Oh, go save Martha."
Yeah.
You're like, why did you say that name? And everyone just hates it for some reason.
Oh, because
Oh my god!
Go save
Come on,
Martha.
man.
Again,
Look
people
like-
reading too much into things.
Jeez, man.
Exactly. That's a good.
There's other
Wicked film.
movies, but I can't think of any at the time. It's too late now.
No,
Yeah.
that was a good episode.
Good
I
episode,
enjoyed that.
so
Yeah,
cool.
I think we're happy with that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm glad we have a shared love for Speed too, sir. We definitely need to get on that. Big time.
100%, mate.
John,
That is
how
something
yet we love the diehards as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And for me and Gal, for Gal to revenge back me with the number 1 and 5, that was cool. Yeah.
I like the
The
fact
Lost
that you
World.
got his one, and
Yeah,
then
and he got my
your,
one.
Yeah,
that was really
quite
cool. That was cool. Yeah. As a curveball, that's pretty cool.
Come
I like
back.
that. Come back. Yeah.
Nice, guys. So, shall we call it a night then? Leave it there?
Yeah.
Right, guys. Well,
Let's do it.
let's do this. So, yeah, if you liked what you listened to, follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B podcast or
Instagram at M.T.V.B podcast.
Or guys, you can follow us on TikTok at MTV Podcast 197.
Or follow us on Twitter at M.T.V.B podcast 1.
nice, guys. Guys, thank you for coming along the show.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again soon.
No worries.
Pleasure, mate.
Enjoyed
Nice.
it.
In the meantime, this is Ant-Man
JK47.
Go cool.
Gal, aka Grey Fox. Peace out.
signing off, guys. Good night.
Take care,
Good
guys.
night,
Enjoy.
everyone.